Morning, Emma. How's it going? Hope everyone's doing well. How's it going? Good morning, KTP. How is everyone doing? Sup, Brian, with an E. Thank you so much for the hand hearts, Petus. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Stop being non-humble. I'm not sure what that means. Your hair looks good today. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Greetings, Mana. Thanks so much. Yeah, Jason. Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. All right, let's go to our very first debate. But before we do, if you're in those guest request box, if you're in that guest request box, make sure you're 18 or older above everything else. Be 18 or older. Make sure you think that God is real, and make sure that you believe in the Christian God, the Jewish God, or the Islamic God. If you don't believe in one of those, I'm not going to talk to you. But yeah, with that, we'll go to. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Jay, are you there?
Yes.
You got to be 18 or older to join. Sorry. Hey, only request to join if you're 18 or older. If you're not 18 or older, I'm not going to talk to you. It's really as simple as that. If you sound like a child, I'm just not going to talk to you. Hey, Dank, thanks so much for the hand or for the heart me. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
What's up?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm Smoothie.
Yeah, nice. What religion are you?
I don't know if I really claim a religion.
Okay, so I'm only looking to debate people who are Christian, Jewish, or Muslim. If that's not you, that's totally fine. I'm just not looking to debate you per se. So make sure if you're in those guest request box that you believe in the Christian God, the Jewish God, or the Muslim God. If that's not the case, then I'm probably not going to talk to you. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Ghost, are you there? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're there?
Mhm.
How old are you?
I'm 15.
Oh, you got to be 18 or older to join. Yeah. No, people aren't very good at following directions, so I'll say this one more time. If you're in that guest request box, you must be 18 or older. If you're not 18 or older, I will not talk to you. It's TikTok terms of service. All right, let's try to see if we can get like any guest whatsoever in here. But make sure you're double tapping that screen. Let's get all the way up to 5K likes. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Shut the fuck up, dumbass.
Yeah, you sound like a minor, so I'd drop you. Otherwise, I'd ask you what
God is real, God is real, God is real.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe if you say your conclusion more, it'll become true. Like maybe if you say like, the sky is red, the sky is red, the sky is red, that will make the sky red. Yeah, call me an IVF clinic the way I'm getting all the fetuses. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Use a bitch, nigga. Use a bitch. God is real.
Oh, you can't say that word, unfortunately, on TikTok at least. Otherwise, it means, it takes the stream down. Hey, what's up? How's it going? This was dumb. You're probably a minor. Hey, but I mean, how old are you?
Nigga, God is real. I'm smacking your teeth out.
Yeah, you're probably not even. I bet your age is like single digit too. Damn, that's crazy.
What's up?
Hey, how old are you?
19.
Yeah, and what religion are you?
I'm Muslim, bro.
Okay, so what's your strongest argument for the existence of the Islamic God?
I disbelieve, bro. What are you talking about?
Oh, well, this is like saying like my strongest argument for the existence of like the flying spaghetti monster is disbelief. The fact that you don't believe in the flying spaghetti monster. Or like the strongest argument in favor of like the Christian God is the fact that you don't believe in it. Or the strongest argument in favor of like Zeus and Hera and like Hermes and shit is that you don't believe in like the Greek pantheon.
Where are you from, bro?
I'm not sure why that's relevant.
Why are you on here spreading hate, my nigga?
No, you can't. Well, first of all, you can't say that word on TikTok Live. But second of all, the reason why I'm up here doing this is because people's belief in a God has real implications on real people in the real world. You use your fake religion to affect real lives. You can look to the way the Oklahoma superintendent recently mandated that the Bible be taught in every single curriculum. You can be in a math class and you'll be learning about the fucking Bible. This shit is like genuinely unbelievable. It's despicable and everybody should look into it. It's honestly disgusting what they're doing in Oklahoma. The way that they mandate the usage of the Bible, that one exists in every single classroom. I'm not sure how you're supposed to teach like with the Bible in like college algebra, for example. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
I'm fine. 53, so I'm old enough to be on here.
Yep.
I'm raised Pentecostal. I believe in the Christian God. I'm married. My husband has a doctorate in comparative religion. and he has learned himself out of believing.
Oh yeah, good. W husband. Yeah. So but are you religious? Jazz, thanks so much for the heart. I
I'm
appreciate it.
questioning everything now.
Okay. Yeah. So what's do you want me to give you some reasons why Christianity is like probably not true?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we would expect a couple things to be true if Christianity was in fact the case. I think the two strongest arguments are the problem of evil and the problem of divine hiddenness. So presumably you think that God wants us to choose him, that God wants us to love him and dedicate our lives to him, and that this is what God wants more than anything in the world is for us to choose him. If you think God's all-powerful, then you probably also think that God has the power to reveal himself to us, which would be very compelling evidence for everyone to choose him, unless, of course, they just despise God or they want nothing to do with God. Those are the only people who would end up not choosing him. So you would expect God to reveal himself because he wants us to choose him. The problem is, God is nowhere to be found. He's never revealed himself in my life, despite the fact that he knows if he did reveal himself in my life, I would become a believer the very next day. And he probably hasn't directly revealed himself in your life either. You probably have like good things happen to you, but good things would happen to you even if God didn't exist. That's just kind of how luck works.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, my husband used to be a minister, and now he doesn't believe.
Yeah. Well, W husband, yeah.
Yeah, it's so I understand you're going to get a lot of hate, but keep pushing the algorithm here, and you got 700 people watching.
Yeah. Hopefully it's going to get more than that, but I appreciate you coming on up here.
Have a good day, hon.
Yeah, you as well. Hey, if you're in those guest request box, make sure that you think that God is real. Make sure that you're 18 or older, and make sure that you're not driving. Also, only request to join if you're a Christian, a Muslim, or Jewish. If you're not one of those things, I'm probably not going to talk to you for very long. Thanks so much for the heart me. I appreciate that. Hey, how's it going, Gage?
Good. How are you, man?
Doing well. What religion are you?
I am a Christian.
Gotcha. So what's your strongest argument for the existence of the Christian God?
Just the experiences of my life, the order and design of the cosmos, pointing to an intelligent mind. The fact that gravity is at a perfect level, like everything just seems so coincidentally perfect in our world that it points to order and design. And the fact that we would just say that it's science-based and there is no designer, I just think that's being closed-minded, but that's just me. I'm here to listen.
So there's like a couple things here. So the first thing that I would point out, I'm going to put all of your personal experience aside. I'm like super not interested. But to the order and design of the cosmos argument, I think that this is a very interesting argument, but I think it fails in a couple of ways. First, I think that there's like a number of ways in which the cosmos are disorderly. The same constants that promote life are the same constants that promote like the formation of tectonic plates, which cause earthquakes, or the formation of suns, which emit UV radiation, which gives us skin cancer. The reason why it seems like there's order in many different ways is because we evolved into this cosmos such that a lot of things are going to work towards us because we have evolved to work with these things. It's not, we kind of put our cart before the horse. You think that the world was, that we were here and the world was designed like perfectly for us, when in fact we simply evolved into the world and it's still very hostile to us. That's indicated by the fact that so many things are capable of unaliving us, especially natural things. In terms of gravity, people make this claim that if gravity were like just slightly different, that we would be, that we couldn't possibly exist. People say this claim a lot. First of all, I've given no evidence. I've been given no evidence that gravity could even be slightly different under an atheist worldview. And second of all, I've been provided no evidence that this would be like the case anyway, regardless.
The case of
that this would that's actually true, that if gravity was different, like, do you have a source that says that if gravity was like a little bit different, that we would no longer exist?
Not right in front of me because I'm on my phone right now doing this, but I've seen it from several different sources, and I mean, it makes sense to me. If gravity was a little different, things in our world, like pretty much everything, would move very much differently.
Yeah, so it's a question of how much different we're capable of engaging with. Because if the core of the Earth had one more molecule in it, one more atom, the gravity performed by this Earth, by the core of the Earth, would be ever so slightly stronger by a factor of whatever one molecule relates to. And yet, like it seems like to me that seems like pretty compelling evidence, because it doesn't seem too hard to imagine a world in which there's like one more molecule in the core of the Earth, and yet we all still exist.
Yeah, but see, that's kind of where I point to a designer, because it's like with science, nothing would have happened just that perfectly to be able to host everything that is on, like, living in our world right now.
No, I'm saying that this is not the case. That if gravity was like a tiny bit stronger, we probably would still all be here.
Oh, okay, you believe that?
Yeah. I mean, do you have any source that says otherwise?
No. I mean, I could ask the same. Do you have a source that says if it were different, we would still be here?
Yeah, so it's going to be a burden of proof on you. You're the one making the affirmative claim that we would not be here if gravity were a little bit stronger, whereas I'm agnostic to the issue. I've been provided no evidence that that's actually the case.
Okay. I'll just move on from gravity now. You said that we evolved throughout time. What is it that you believe we evolved from?
At what stage of evolution? We evolved from a lot of different things.
I mean, all the way through. What do you think humans evolved from?
So I think that we evolved from so humans are great apes. We evolved from great apes. We evolved from some of the very first mammals, and then if you go back far enough, we evolved from like single cell organisms.
Okay, so to ask another question on top of that, why are apes in our world today still evolving?
We are apes. So all these apes, like all the other apes, also evolved. We just share a common ancestor with them. 4 to 6 million years ago, we all shared a common ancestor with like chimpanzees or bonobos. And it split out over time, and we evolved in different ways. Whereas humans evolved to be very like communal and use tools and be highly intelligent. And chimpanzees evolved to get absolutely shredded by eating nothing but leaves.
Okay, so you're saying so why are chimpanzees today not further evolving into something closer like a human is kind of what I'm asking.
No, well, so they evolved because they feel like their own evolutionary niche.
So they feel like
wait, I just want to be very clear. We didn't evolve from chimpanzees. Like it didn't go like chimpanzees to bonobos to humans. It went a common ancestor that split into 3 different branches, into humans, into bonobos, and into chimpanzees that all filled their own evolutionary niche.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that just confuses me, because it's like the whole argument is we came from apes, but
the argument, I've said this at least twice, we are apes.
No, I hear
we
you.
didn't come from apes.
No, but you're saying that.
So we came from apes that are no longer existent. We came from apes that don't exist anymore. It's a common ancestor.
Right. Okay. Do we have any records of these apes?
Yeah, we have fossil records. Yeah. Yes.
And the fact that they later evolved into what we now are.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we are capable of tracing the fossil record throughout all of history, and assembling, based on like the various fossils and the time periods that we know they came from, the order of events in which we evolved from a common ancestor to humans. Do you have any critique of that, or is it just like these like vibes based? Well, that seems implausible to me, even though the evidence is all there.
Just kind of lost on a lot of what you're saying here, but trying to listen.
Yeah. If there's anything you're confused about?
I've tried to ask it. You just kind of keep saying the same thing. It's all good.
Yeah. So it seems like there's yeah. So it seems like we have this one fossil. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this because the name is in Latin. Yeah, it lived like 7 million years ago, and it lived right around the time of the human chimpanzee split.
The human chimpanzee split.
Yeah, there was this like one common ancestor, and then it split. It diverged in its evolution, where one group evolved into chimpanzees after a long enough period of time, and then the other group evolved into humans after a long enough period of time. Do you have a critique of that?
The one group just decided we're only going to turn into.
They didn't decide. They were selected for these characteristics.
Selected by whom?
Selected by nature. They were maybe selected is like a confusing word. Maybe we could use like they formed the human characteristics and they formed the ape characteristics just based on spreading their genetics and like genetic mutations. That they were in conditions such that it was advantageous. The evolutionary pressures were such that they formed closer to humans or formed closer to chimpanzees.
Right. So what stopped them from evolving all the way to the human stage?
Because the next stage for chimpanzees is not humans, it's something else.
And what's that?
We don't know yet.
Got it. Well, it's just...
I mean, like, we don't, like, if your critique is just that we don't know the future, then, like, yeah.
I mean, it's just like, how long have we had chimpanzees around in this evolved state that they've been in?
Oh, that's a great question. That's like a scientific question that we could definitely answer. How long have chimpanzees been around? 2.4 million years ago.
So in 2.4 million years, there's been no need for them to further evolve at all.
So we're all constantly always evolving in every generation. The problem is that evolution is a massive process that takes millions of years to actually complete. Or it's a process that doesn't actually get complete, but it takes millions of years to actually end up like that.
I gotcha. All right, man. Well, I'm not going to take any more of your time. It was good to have a talk with you. No hate to you.
Yeah. Can I ask you some questions about Christianity?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
Yeah. Does God want us to choose him?
I would believe so. Yes. I would say.
Is there anything God desires more than us choosing him?
Our love, a relationship with us. Yeah.
Yeah. So he wants, but in order for us to have those things, we must actually choose him, right?
Yes, we believe in our heart and confess with our mouth.
Yeah, so you're I just want to be clear about this. You're saying that there is nothing that God desires more than for us to choose him.
I would believe so, yes.
Okay, perfect. Does God have the power to reveal himself to me?
God has the power to do anything.
Gotcha. And like reveal himself to me in such a way that it would be undeniable that it was him.
Yes, but can I ask you, if he were to do that, where faith would be needed at all?
Oh, well, so your Bible actually throws faith completely out the window. I think the verse is in Romans 1:21.
Well, make sure if you give me one verse to give me the context that goes along with it as well.
Yep. So this is Romans 18 through 20. But God shows his anger from heaven against all sinful, wicked people who suppress the truth by their wickedness. They know the truth about God because he has made it obvious to them. For ever since the world was created, people have seen the earth and sky. Through everything God made, they can clearly see his invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, so they have no excuse for not knowing God. The key to me there is that they have no excuse for not knowing God because there's just so much evidence in the world. If we're believing based on evidence, then that means that faith is not going to be an important thing that God actually cares about.
Evidence to a certain extent, though. You still have to have faith whenever you've never actually seen this being that you are believing in.
That's fine, but there's no evidence is the problem. God claims that there's enough evidence for me to believe in him. There's just no evidence, though.
Like I said earlier, the order and design of the cosmos points to an intelligent mind.
Which I already refuted, and you had no critique of my refutation.
Right, because I don't sit here and, study this and have a computer right in front of me ready to go. Like, if I had that, sure, I could give you a much better debate. But, I mean, man, if you honestly can go outside, look at this world that we live in and say this happened by accident, then there's nothing that I can say. I would just say to continue searching for, and, just ask God to, if he's there, open your eyes to the fact that he is. And, dude, I pray that does happen for you, man.
Okay, but this is just like I don't need the spiritual blackmail. I mean,
there's no blackmail in that, bro.
There is. It's like this guilt tripping about I'll pray for you. You don't need to pray for me. I don't care. I don't think it does anything. And also, I don't want you to pray for me because that's a waste of time.
I was just confused by that word blackmail you just threw out. What was that?
Oh yeah, it's like this emotional spiritual blackmailing. Yeah, it's like Yeah, like I have to feel bad. It's like this like vampirism wherein you like drain people of their of their like confidence in their position by throwing out a like random "I'll pray for you." Like I just don't care. Please go elsewhere with that.
That just seems sort of angry, if you ask me. Because like, what does that hurt you?
No, there's no anger. There's no anger. It's just like a boundary. Like, don't pray for me. I don't care. I don't want that.
No. Gotcha. Respectable.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on up here.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, dropping a comment as well. If you want to see every single debate in the future, make sure you drop a follow so you never miss a single debate. If you want to join the community, there's a link to the Discord in my bio. Thanks so much for the team bracelets, Kaylee. And if you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly-Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much. And with that, we can go to the very next guest. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hey.
Do you think that God is real?
It's not okay. Wait, can I ask first? What do you perceive God as?
So to me, and in like standard theism, God is a being who is all powerful and the originator of the universe. It's a being with a mind who is all loving, all knowing, and all powerful. That's the typical conception of what God is.
People are calling it the wrong thing. If you know, God is not the right word for what all of us are. We are.
Yeah, that's nice. So I'm just asking you, do you think God is real?
Not God, because that's not what we're called. But
okay, do you believe in Christianity, Judaism, or Islam?
Hell no.
Okay, yeah, so I'm only looking to debate people who believe in one of those. If you don't believe in one of those, I'm not really interested in talking to you. But make sure you double tap on that screen, share it with your friends, drop a comment as well as we go to the very next guest. Only if you're in those guest request box, make sure you're 18 or older and make sure you believe in one of the three religions that I listed. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Yo, what's up, man? How you feeling?
Doing well. How old are you?
27.
And what religion are you?
I was raised Christian. I'm Christian.
Okay, yeah. So what's your strongest argument for the existence of the Christian God?
It's honestly like a scientific one.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Are you familiar with the double slit experiment?
I am, and I'm already. I hope Blitz is gone from the live because I know that this is going to be an extremely painful one for him. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the double slit experiment.
So it's like the photon acting like a wave and a particle, and us observing it changes it.
Well, so observation is made in like a very general sense there. It's not like we're actually seeing the damn thing and then it collapses. It's that I think in the double slit experiment they were shooting like a beam of like electrons at it, I believe, and that's what caused the wave function to collapse.
But okay, well, from my understanding, I hear that. From my understanding of it, though, was that us observing it did change its pattern because before, I think what the theory was that they couldn't, like, that was impossible, right? Like, that wasn't supposed to be possible for that photon to act like a wave and a particle at the same time.
Well, yeah, it's just that there's like a wave function collapse involved in it.
Okay. Was that so? I maybe have to do some more research on that on my end, but from my understanding of it, us observing it changed it. So that will be my argument because I think energy is real. Like, you know, like
wait, but what does this mean that Christianity is real? Like, what does the double slit experiment have to do with Christianity?
Because you know, in the Bible it says we're made in God's image, and you know, if us observing, you know, like a law of nature changes it in a way, like if there's power and energy in us observing something, I think that goes to show that, you know what I'm saying, that if we're a piece of God.
Wait, was that a galaxy? Thanks so much. Oh my God, wait, who just gifted that?
Yeah, shout out to them. But yeah, if we're like a piece of that.
Kane, thanks so much for the galaxy. Huge W Kane. I love you with my entire heart. Thank you so much. And W Kane in the comment section. Yeah, but please keep on going.
Oh, no, yeah, you're good. If we're like a piece of that, I feel like God is, you know, he's the observer, you know, and whether it be like, you know, old man in the sky or like some crazy being or primordial soup, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there is something there in like that power. And like,
Gotcha. So you're essentially saying that God is real because we are made in God's image, which of course presupposes that God is real.
mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So what's like the general circle if we go from the top to the bottom and then back to the top? What circle or what shape have we made? Sorry, I gave the answer away a little bit. Thanks so much for the heart me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you're saying it's kind of like paradoxical in a way?
No, I'm saying it's like a shape which goes in like a loop almost, like a circular argument.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. So, but okay, well, just going off that, do you feel like our form of consciousness as humans is like higher than most animals, or you think it's just different?
What do you mean? So I think consciousness is a 0 or a 1. I don't think consciousness is like a spectrum. I think that you either have consciousness or you don't. There's not like you have like 2 consciousness or like 3 consciousness. I think that it's like a 0 or a 1.
So are we the only one? Or
No, I think that there's lots of animals who have consciousness. Most animals who are capable of like processing things in ways that aren't like strictly algorithmic.
Okay, I got you. I just feel like, I don't know, man, like when you like look at like, I mean, animals make nests and stuff too, but just the way we've like discovered like, you know, radio waves and stuff that's like not tangible in the like by animal eyes, human eyes, like, or even all animals, like some like stuff in the air that's like there, like how we're like discovering and figuring out. I feel like there's an initiative, there's a drive there. And I feel like whether it be God or aliens or something like beyond our understanding, like there's something there. Like,
well, yeah, there's like laws of the universe. There's like waves and things and like rays and all sorts of other things. But none of this means that God exists. All these things can just exist based on the laws of physics.
Okay. I feel that. Yeah.
Okay, so do you
Go ahead.
All right. I mean, unless you have anything more, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ask me.
All right. So this argument is essentially the argument from divine hiddenness that it shouldn't be possible for any reasonable person to not believe in God if God is loving. So do you think that God wants us to pick him more than he wants us to do more than he wants anything else?
From my interpretation of it, I feel like God wants you to, but the fact that he gives you a choice, I don't think it's like, you know what I'm saying, like obviously it's a sin and everything, but you know, I think it's deeper than just him wanting it, because if that's all what he mainly wanted, he wouldn't give you a choice, you know what I mean?
Well, no, because he could like give people a choice that some people could hate God or be anti-theists even if they know that God does exist. So these people still don't need to be with him. But if he's giving me a choice, I should have all the information on the table. The question is just, if God wants me to choose him more than he wants anything else in the entire world, and he is capable of revealing himself. He has the power to reveal himself to me in such a way that I know that he is real and that I can now choose him. Why wouldn't he do that? I mean, if he wants me to pick him, he knows that the easiest way to do that would be just by revealing himself to me.
Yeah, but I feel like faith is important, because faith is like, you know, kind of like similar to hope. It's like seeing something that's not quite there yet. You have to, you know, have a vision, like whether it be a vision towards the future or a vision towards something, and just like the community aspect too is so important, you know?
Yeah, so unfortunately in the Bible, it actually locks you out of this argument. It says explicitly in Romans 1, 18 through 20, that essentially that there's enough evidence for everyone to believe in God. So I look around and I think, where's the evidence? It just seems like there isn't any evidence for the existence of a God. Ivan, thanks so much for the roses. I appreciate it.
So, I mean, you don't believe Jesus was a real person, or you think?
I think Jesus was a real person. I don't think Jesus was the Son of God.
Okay.
Matt, thanks so much for the heart me. I appreciate it.
I mean, yes, like evidence, like, you know, there's people who don't believe like the earth is flat, you know, or people don't believe the earth is round. There's people who believe the earth is flat. So I feel like evidence can be there, but it's like you don't necessarily have to believe it, you know?
Well, yeah, that's fine. But the problem is there's just no evidence for the existence of a God. If God knows that the only way that I'm going to come into knowing him and accepting him is either if I'm presented with a good philosophical argument, which I don't think exists, or he just like directly reveals himself to me, then if he wants me to pick him more than he wants anything else, and he knows that these are the only two ways I'm going to pick him, I'm not sure why he wouldn't just reveal himself to me if he has the power to do so. Yeah. Dragonflies, thanks so much for the finger hearts. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I feel like, to your point, when you say evidence, like, I feel like there's evidence there, but you're just choosing not to believe the evidence, you know?
Gotcha. So you're just saying that I'm being like willfully ignorant in the face of evidence.
Not necessarily. I mean, if like, I'm not going to call you ignorant, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's just like, you know, if you're like in a court case, you know what I'm saying? There's evidence, but you know, if you're on a jury, I mean, the jury could be like, oh, well, that's some bullshit evidence, you know what I'm saying? So we're not rocking with that, and he's not guilty, you know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah, but it just seems like there's no evidence for the existence of a God. That's my problem. That's like my entire contention is that there's no evidence or like no convincing evidence that God actually exists. So if God wants me to choose him, why wouldn't he put compelling evidence out there?
But wouldn't the evidence be the multiple religions, the Son of God?
Wait, you think multiple religions is going to be evidence for the truth of your religion? Why? I mean, to me, that just seems like this falls into the category of the rest of them, that you and I, like you don't believe in all these other religions, like every religion except Christianity you don't believe in. It's just that I happen to add one more to that list. I also add Christianity to that list.
Yeah. I mean, well, personally, like, I was raised Christian, but my shorty is like Hindu. So like, but I don't think she's wrong. I think there is a God, but I think
then that's like blasphemy. If you think that Hinduism isn't wrong, then that's blasphemy.
Yeah, I mean, but on a traditional sense, I guess you could say that. But like, I just view it as like there's a higher power, but you know, we just have different ways of looking at it.
Oh, then I mean that's blasphemy. Yeah, to say that there's like the other religions or anything other than like demons, that's blasphemy.
So wait, well, let me just ask you this question. Is it like you were you raised in like a, you know, Christian or like a Christian or one of like or like a Jewish household or like a Islamic household?
I was raised in a Christian household, but I'm not sure what the relevance of that is.
No, I'm just trying to understand, like, you know, how, like where you're coming from, like, you know.
Yeah, no, and I get that. But I just don't think
you know a lot about both sides, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but do you? Unless you have anything else, I'm probably going to move on to the next guest. But I appreciate you coming on up here.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Hey, if you're enjoying the debates, make sure you're dropping a follow so you never miss a single debate in the future. We're almost at 100K followers. We're at 99.9K. So, you know, you could be the 100K follower, and I'd super appreciate that. But make sure you're double tapping on that screen. We should pass that benchmark today. Make sure you're sharing it with your friends, dropping a comment. And if you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly-Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. Sorry if I miss your gifts. I do appreciate them. And with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Darkness, thanks so much for the finger heart. I think I've already talked to you. So do you have anything like quickly or what is it? Gage? Oh, if you're off the app, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I went off the app just to read something. I was checking up on that Romans 1:18 through 20 that you gave us.
Yeah.
And the very following verses, it speaks about the people actually of that time and what the people of that time frame were doing and how they were being wicked and turning against God. And although that he had already revealed himself to them, they were choosing to go against him and worship false idols and things of that nature. So
yeah, that's fine.
Whenever I said that it was important to add context.
No, but I think the context doesn't change that the initial part of the verse says very directly and very explicitly that there's enough evidence to believe in a God, just based on looking at the universe, that from the waters to the sky, that all of this is like very clear evidence that God exists. And I don't think so. But to me, if God thinks that there's enough evidence that he exists in your worldview, then that means that faith is actually completely unnecessary. Because faith is a belief in the absence of evidence. But if there's evidence that God exists, then this wouldn't be belief in the absence of evidence. This would be evidence.
Yes, and what I'm saying is this was written in a very different time. We don't know what the world was looking like at that time. We don't know how God was revealing himself to the people at that time. That's what I'm saying with you right now.
No, but the problem is that this evidence doesn't change that if the people at that time were capable of seeing the waters and the sky as evidence for the existence of a God, then presumably we could also see the waters and the skies as evidence for the existence of God. But the problem is that's just not the case. I don't see these things as evidence.
Okay, so you're kind of going back and forth here. You're saying that like there is evidence, so that would eliminate.
No, I think that there's no evidence. That is my
Okay,
only
so
position. There's no evidence.
there's no evidence. Okay.
Yes.
Well, according to the Bible, there is ample evidence, and I do agree with that. Obviously, we're going to have very different viewpoints on this. I believe that there is enough evidence out there, and if there's not, there's at least enough evidence for you to know about Jesus, know about the Bible, and do your own research on that in order.
Oh yeah,
to
and I totally have, and the conclusion I've come to is that it's nonsense. Yes.
That's totally fine. I just wanted to come back up and kind of give a little more context on that verse because I feel it's very misleading.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on up here. Hey, if you're enjoying the debates, make sure you keep on double tapping on that screen. Let's get all the way up to 60K likes. Drop a follow as well. We're so close to 100K. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Dolo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How old are you?
23.
And what religion are you?
I'm not really a part of any of those religions. It's just
Okay, I'm only looking to debate people who are Christian, Jewish, or Muslim. If you're not Christian, Jewish, or Muslim, please don't request to join. These are the only people that I'm interested in actually having this debate with. Thank you so much, Minnow, for the roses. I appreciate that. Make sure you're 18 or older. Make sure you believe in a God, and make sure that it's one of the gods that I'm interested in discussing. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
I am doing great. Woke up at a great time this morning.
Yeah, so what, how old are you?
I'm almost 21. That's going to be in 3 days.
Perfect. And what religion are you?
I'm currently debating Christianity.
So are you like on the fence? Are you currently Christian and you are trying to become unchristian, or?
It's not exactly on the fence. It's more like I'm 60-40 with it.
Okay. So what's
the 40
your strongest
being I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Well, if you're not 100%
My
sure,
strongest argument is...
Yeah, go for it.
My strongest argument is, like all the scripture in the Bible and stuff has always said that God does things the way he does them for a purpose, And in life, everything that happens around us happens because it happens for a reason. So what if that's the, purpose that God has it intended for?
So I think one of the problems with this is that...
But then again, there was this other thing I had regarding religion.
Okay, so the problem with this in my mind is just that it's like 100% unfalsifiable. There's literally no way of verifying even a single piece of this, that God has like a higher purpose for all of these things, that, earthquakes, for example, take the lives of 60,000 people every single year. In the Christian worldview, you either have to reject science or you have to accept that God's the one doing earthquakes, in which case you're kind of left saying that earthquakes are good and that you have faith that earthquakes actually do a good thing. That to me is an absurdity. You shouldn't accept absurdities, and you certainly shouldn't have faith in absurdities.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
Okay. Well, what's your critique?
Mainly,
Wait.
My whole
Twin, what's your critique of the argument? Wait, what's your critique of the argument? Why is that not what you're forced to accept in Christianity?
What, is this for someone else, or are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
Okay. Well, regarding me, one, I'm saying God specifically does certain things for a reason. He has no control over what happens on our world. All right?
No control.
Like
Sounds like God isn't all powerful.
He left this mortal realm for us to, suffer and wait until we accept him and pass on to live a better and more peaceful life.
Gotcha. Sounds like God isn't
I even
all
have
powerful,
this one view of my own
case.
where I even have my own view where...
Sounds like God's not all powerful if that's the case.
Are you going to let me talk, or are you going to shut up and listen?
Bro, calm down. Chill out. If God doesn't have control of the world, then he's not all powerful.
I'd rather,
it's as simple
I'm
as
just
that.
going to leave because you're most likely not going to listen to me.
Okay.
Goodbye.
I accept your surrender. Folded like a chair. Scrambled like an egg. Hey, if you're enjoying the debates, make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Make sure you keep on sharing it with your friends, dropping a comment as well. If you want to help me get to 100K followers, I'm almost there. You just need to drop a follow, and I'd really appreciate that. But hey, let's. If you want to support the stream, the Venmo is allegedly-Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. If you're in that guest request box, make sure that you are 18 or older. If you're not 18 or older, I will not talk to you. And make sure that you believe in the God of the Bible, the God of the Torah, or the God of the Quran. If you don't believe in one of those, I will not talk to you for very long either. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hey,
How old are you?
I'm 25. I'll be 26 in September.
Gotcha. And what religion are you?
Well, I'm Christian, but honestly, the reason why I am Christian is because my family is Christian. And honestly, on top of that, my grandmother is the one who was more so profound in church. So she kind of poured into me what I know. But as far as what I've experienced on my own, I believe that there is a God. And I don't want to sound like I'm straddling the fence because it's just a lot that I really don't understand, but I'm kind of innovative and I am open to non-traditional things. So it's really been interesting hearing the debates with you and your followers. But I just feel like it's more so of a self thing. I think God is within us all. You know what I mean? Because have you ever heard of something called intuitive sight?
Intuitive sight? You just mean like intuition?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm familiar with intuition. I think everybody is, that some things are intuitively a certain way. But this is like kind of like a nothing point so far. It just seems like you're saying that, like, I mean, my interpretation of this at least is that you believe in this because you've been raised to believe in this. This to me isn't an argument. Like, just because, like, if you're raised to believe that the sky is red, that doesn't actually make the sky red.
Right. And I was trying to get to my point. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So wait. So can you just give me like a little bit more concisely? Because if that stuff is not relevant, then let's get to the relevant things. So God is real because of what?
God is real because of my intuitive sight. I'm able to make the connections that I'm able to make, not because of religion, but because of my spirituality. God is like a big umbrella with religion, spirituality, and everything else that other people may appoint themselves to. So it's deeper than just religion.
So God is unintuitive to me, which means that I can't really engage with this. So do you have an argument that might change my intuition to make me think that God actually does exist?
Well, what do you mean by God is unintuitive?
Yeah, just that my intuition would tell me that an all good God wouldn't make a world with earthquakes and wouldn't make a sun that gives us skin cancer, that a God who wants us to pick him wouldn't be so hidden from us.
I see your argument, but I honestly just feels like I honestly feel like we get too caught up in living in flesh. See, now an individual who believes in God understands that they live simultaneously in flesh and spiritual. But if you don't believe in God, then that means you're only living in flesh. So that means your awareness level is lower than individuals who are spiritual and not just submitting to religion, but just to be spiritual. Your awareness level is a little bit lower. See, us as human beings, we're capable of understanding and being aware of more than what we subject ourselves to. And me bringing up my grandmother and family, that was kind of just a supporting detail to kind of make sense of my connectivity to God.
Okay, and I'm telling you that this is like, so the words that you just said are like completely semantically meaningless. You've pivoted away from the actual arguments themselves to this like ad hominem critique. That instead of engaging with why an all good God might allow earthquakes to happen or might create earthquakes himself, you want to pivot to saying, well, like you as an atheist, you're just like, you are unsophisticated and you just don't get it. Like that's like, or that my, I'm sorry, the way you wanted to put it, like my awareness is lower. That's fine. But it seems like you're not really engaging with the argument. So I'll just ask like a very direct question.
I'm sorry.
Whose will are earthquakes a result of?
Make it make sense. I've never had a debate like this.
That's fine. No, I'll walk you through
It's
it.
a natural phenomenon.
Yeah, and who made nature?
Mother Nature, God, or whoever
You think?
your God
Wait,
is.
you believe in Mother Nature?
Yeah, it's multiple gods. Yeah, it's
You
multiple.
wait, you're a Christian, but you believe in multiple gods?
I'm like I said earlier, I'm kind of open to non-traditional beliefs because I understand that there's more than just Christianity out here. There are other religions that have truth to them too. So I have to be, I have to consider that. You know what I mean?
Do you know what the first commandment is?
I don't actually. What is it?
Okay, you shall have no other gods before me is the first commandment.
Mm-hmm.
So saying that there's multiple gods is a violation of the very first rule in your religion.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I'm not saying that I submit to multiple gods. I'm just saying that I'm aware that there are multiple gods because I'm not the only person living on Earth. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's that's totally cool, but it just seems like you're not really able to account for this. So, but let's focus on like what you did say that you said that God is the cause of nature. So that means that you think that God caused nature and nature causes earthquakes. So God caused earthquakes. If God does something, is it good?
I think that my God is good no matter what. I mean, I just lost my best friend in 2022. I could be rocking around here like, if God is God and God is good, then why did he let my best friend leave this world? You know what I mean? And then her death was sudden, but I choose not to have that perception because of the connections that I've made in my lifetime that influences my thoughts. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to like put it into words. It's like a feeling. That's why I was like, us as human beings, we are more capable than what we know to be.
Yeah, so I'm really sorry to hear that your friend passed, but I just want to get back to the argument. So you said that God is the cause of earthquakes and that if God does something, it's good. So God does earthquakes. If God does something, it's good. That means that you think earthquakes are good. Thank you so much for the roses. I appreciate both of those. Thanks so much, Brady. This means that under your worldview, you would have to hold that earthquakes are good, which to me is deeply unintuitive. I don't think earthquakes are good. In fact, I think earthquakes are quite bad.
Well, you know, the earth detoxifies itself just like we do. So
could the earth detoxify itself without taking the lives of 60,000 people a year?
I don't think so because we aren't greater than the earth's power. You know what I mean?
Does God have the power to make the earth detoxify itself every year without taking the lives of 60,000 people a year?
I mean, if he did, then the earthquakes would kind of go a little differently. But obviously, that's just us living in flesh and not being aware spiritually. Know what I mean?
Well, wait, but I'm just asking, like, does God have the power to make the earthquake or to make the earth cleanse itself without taking the lives of 60,000 people a year?
I'm not sure. Do he?
Okay, that's a great question. So there's a double bind. Like, just saying I don't know doesn't really help you out in this situation because either...
I mean, you're asking questions and I don't necessarily have every answer to every
No, that's fine, but I'll tell you what the two possibilities are. It's a yes or no question, so either the answer is yes or no. So either God does have the power to do all these things without taking the lives of 60,000 people every single year, in which case you need to justify why God would choose to take the lives of 60,000 innocent men, women, children, and infants every single year. Ryan, thanks so much for the $7 on Cash App. W Ryan in the comment section. If anybody else wants to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly-Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much. So either yes, he does have the power to do these things to stop earthquakes or like cleanse the earth without taking away like 60,000 people every year, in which case you need to justify why taking the lives of 60,000 people a year gratuitously is good, or he does not have this power, in which case you need to affirm that God is not all-powerful and therefore does not exist because your God is believed to be all-powerful. Big B, thanks so much for the gem gun. I appreciate it. Huge W, Big B in the comment section. I really appreciate that.
But because he's all powerful, does that necessarily mean we have to dictate what his power influences?
well, we need to talk about like what's possible and what's not possible. If God has the power to not like to do all the good things that earthquakes do without taking the lives of 60,000 people a year, then he should just be able to do that without taking 60,000, like the lives of 60,000 people a year. This would be like if we had two plans in front of us. We could either solve climate change and let nobody be unalived, or we could solve climate change at the cost of like 200,000 people. Now, if you went with the first path, that would be like totally good, like a super good thing. If you went with the second path, that would be super evil.
You kind of, I'm sorry, you lost me with the paths, but I think it's more so like a perception thing. It's how you perceive things. Like one may perceive an earthquake to be bad, one may perceive an earthquake to be good. Okay, better yet, let's say we have a number 6 on the ground, right? You're in front of the 6, I'm behind the 6. You see a 9, I see a 6. But are we both wrong?
So just depending on what you mean by that, you could be both correct, that it's probably true. That from your perspective, it is a 6, but from the other person's perspective, it's a 9. And that's totally fine, but the problem is, you would need to affirm that there's a perspective from which earthquakes are good, which to me is an absurdity. Earthquakes are bad.
Yeah. I mean, I could understand from a flesh perspective as a human being how an earthquake could be perceived to be bad. But if I'm looking at it for a more aware point of view, I look at an earthquake just as if I look at rain, tornadoes, tsunamis, and I see that as a way of the earth detoxifying itself.
Oh, well, I think I think rain is fine. Rain is good. I think tsunamis and hurricanes and all other natural disasters are pretty bad, actually. I think when people lose their lives, that's like a really bad thing and is extremely tragic. So I'd ask you, it seems like you think that earthquakes are good. Do you celebrate when an earthquake happens?
I don't celebrate it.
Okay, why would you, if you think that earthquakes are good, why would that not make you happy?
Well, celebration doesn't necessarily equal my happiness. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that deep for me.
Oh, so, but you are made happy when you hear about an earthquake?
No, it doesn't move me at all. But my
it doesn't make you like sad? Because I think most people, when they hear that there was like a really big earthquake that took the lives of tons of people, I think like a normal human emotion might be sadness at the unalive of all these people.
Yeah, well, when it takes the lives of other people, of course I'm going to feel sadness. But when it's just an earthquake, like there was a 7.2 earthquake or however it goes, I'm just like, oh, okay, it was an earthquake. Versus it being a bad earthquake and lives were lost, then of course I'm going to have some sympathy or empathy to show. But that's kind of like a context thing. Like,
okay, yeah. So you said that earthquakes are good. So in 2004, there was an earthquake in Indonesia that took the lives of 224,000 people. Do you think that this earthquake was good?
The earthquake was good. The deaths weren't.
Okay, but the earthquake caused the death, so...
Well, I have no control over that.
Yeah, but you can say that it's bad. Like, you don't have to think that it's good. That's the control that you have, is saying that it's bad. I'm not asking you to stop earthquakes. I'm asking you to recognize that earthquakes are a really bad thing, and that if God does earthquakes, he'd be a really bad person.
Well, do you think it's possible for things to be both good and bad?
Not all good. With a little bit of bad, or not all bad with a little bit of good. I think that there can be good aspects and bad aspects to earthquakes, but at the point in time where God could do all these things without taking the lives of anybody, then God is on the hook for every single person who's unalived by an earthquake. That whatever good effect you think earthquakes have, these all could have been achieved through other methods if God is all powerful.
Well, that makes sense, but I'm subjected to certain beliefs. So when someone dies, I don't necessarily believe that that's the end. So even though here physically somebody leaves this world, I don't believe that that's the end for them. So there's not a negative connotation to my argument.
Oh, so then could you give me a reason why death is bad if it's not the end?
I don't think death is bad.
Okay, so would it be
bad because of...
Would you be upset if somebody like killed your entire family right now?
Of course.
Oh, but death's not bad.
That's
Amber,
not
thanks so much for the
bad.
$6.66 on Venmo. W Amber in the comment section and W666. I appreciate that, Amber. But if death isn't bad, then why is murder bad?
Well, wait. Where did murder come from?
Because murder involves death.
Well, what I was trying to say is because we're humans and we're living in flesh, we only perceive things to be bad because of our emotions behind it. We aren't as aware as the other side. At least that's what I believe.
Yeah, that's
So,
fine. Do you know what
we're
the
here on
question?
Earth.
What
We're
question did
here
I
on
just ask you
Earth.
though?
Yeah, and I'm trying to answer it the best
Gotcha.
way I can. But we're here on Earth as humans, right? Just like dogs, cats, birds. We have emotions. We get hungry. We just have these human things to ourselves. But when we pass away, do you believe that we are just none?
Wait, that was you can't ask me another question. I already asked you a question. It's a yes or no question.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not a yes or no question, but it's like you didn't answer it.
I'm trying.
If death isn't bad, why is murder bad? Or actually, wait, let's take it. I'm presupposing
okay.
something. Do you think murder is bad?
Yes.
Okay.
I see your question. I'm
So
so
why
sorry.
is murder bad if death is not bad?
Because murder has a negative intent behind it.
Okay, so do you think that murder is like morally equivalent to like not holding
An
the door for
earthquake?
someone because you dislike them?
Wait, say that one more time.
So do you think that murder is on the same level as like not holding the door open for someone because you don't like them?
No.
Okay, so why not? I mean, both of them are done with a bad intent.
Because one just seems deeper than the other.
Yeah, why? So the reason why it seems deeper is because it causes death and end to being.
Yeah.
But that doesn't.
perception.
Oh, yeah, perfect. So it seems deeper because you don't actually believe the things that you're espousing.
It seems deeper because me holding a door for somebody isn't taking them out of this world negatively.
But it's not the end, so why does that matter?
It's not, but from a perception of flesh as a human being, it could be perceived as a negative connotation.
Oh, so do you have faith that these things are morally equivalent?
Faith, that thing.
Yeah, do you have like what's another thing people do to each other with like negative or like negative intention? Do you think that do you have faith that keying someone's car is the moral equivalent to murder?
My faith does not coincide with anything that goes within flesh. So anything that
That's a yes or no question.
well, it doesn't apply to me, so I can't give you a yes or no.
What do you mean it doesn't apply to you? It's a question that I'm asking you.
It doesn't apply to me because it just doesn't make sense to me, so I can't answer
So
yes or no. I
let me
can
break
only
this.
try to
Wait.
reflect.
Let me break this down. So you said that the only reason why murder is bad is because it's done with a negative intention. Keying somebody's car is also done with a negative intention. So both of these things would be bad because they're done with a negative intention. Are these things morally equivalent?
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, do you have faith that these things are morally equivalent?
No, I don't.
Okay, so what's going to be the moral difference between these things?
The moral difference between death and keying somebody's car?
Yeah, well, like murder and keying someone's car, because both of these would be bad because they just have a negative intention. I mean, the obvious answer to me is that you cause somebody's death, and like death is the end to being, and that's really bad. But in your worldview, if you don't think death is an end to being, then you're screwed. You can't say anything bad about murder.
Well, morally, murdering somebody versus a natural phenomenon of an earthquake killing somebody.
We're talking about keying people's car.
But you know, Ian, is that your name?
Yeah.
Ian, I'm kind of like intrigued on your thought processes too. So, you know, you're kind of helping me understand why I'm having a debate. And I'm not arguing with you. There's no negative energy behind it. I'm just genuinely, you know, I want to know what's going on in your head.
Yeah, that's fine. So what questions do you have for me?
So, do you think it is morally equivalent to murder someone versus someone's life being taken from a natural phenomenon like an earthquake? Do you think that's on the same level?
So in my worldview, these things I would describe natural disasters as tragedies. I wouldn't describe them as like being immoral because there's not a moral actor doing them. I don't think it's like immoral for a rock to fall down a cliff and like crush somebody. I think it's a tragedy. I think that's really sad. I think that that's like extremely unfortunate and that we should do things to prevent that. But if all that happened were like natural forces, I don't think that there's a moral actor, which means that nobody has done anything immoral in that situation. Whereas in your worldview, there is a moral actor behind all of it, that God is responsible for every single instance of all of this happening.
Okay. Well, Ian, I'm going to let someone else speak. It was nice talking to you. It was nice hearing your viewpoints. Thank you for having me up. My faith, my religion, everything still stands. And I also respect your viewpoints as well. And I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I hope you have a great day as well. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, if you're enjoying the stream, yeah, we hit 100K followers. Look at that. Huge W to everyone who follows me. I appreciate that. It's been a long, fun journey. It's been like a good 3 years where I've been doing this. I've been pushing this, and it's really cool to see it finally paying off. I love each and every one of you who has made this a reality, and I really enjoy it. It's been such a journey, a really fun experience. Some of my favorite people I've met through this app. It's great, and I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate being able to do this every single day. Thank you all so much. Hey, if you're enjoying the debates, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, share it with your friends, drop a comment as well. Thank you all so much for the roses. I appreciate that. Make sure you're dropping a follow because we're going to 2K next, and then hopefully we'll hit 1 million. And if you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly-Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support, and I really appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Both are in my bio. I appreciate it. If you want to join the community, the link to the Discord is in my bio. I would love to see you there. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Truly?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah, how old are you? Eric, thanks so much for the money gun. That's really nice of you. Yeah, so what? How old are you?
I'm 22 years old and living my life to the fullest.
Mm-hmm. And what religion are you?
I am a Catholic.
Hey, thanks so much for the heart, the heart with the arrow in it. I appreciate that, Gifter. You're a Catholic. So what's your strongest argument for the existence of the Christian God?
Well, just like you, especially like going through life, going through college and doing this, everything and seeing all the evil in the world, really made me want to think and question my religion. Because growing up, I was an altar boy. I was a little Catholic boy. My dad forced me into these CCD classes. I was forced to learn these Bible things. But as I started to grow older and get more involved into the Bible, reading the Bible, watching shows, watching documentaries, I was very, very hardcore focused on trying to point anything to a God. Because even I was skeptical, with Noah's Ark and these crazy, crazy stories. But there's two things I could tell you that for me that I think that there's a living God out there and why God exists. The first one is life comes from life. I don't care if it's plant life, inhabited life. I don't care. It's more reasonable for me to believe that the beginning God created, or is more reasonable for me to believe that the beginning is matter and energy. I really believe that it's more that to see life come from life, never life comes from non-life. It's far more plausible for me to believe the beginning God. Second piece of evidence is I believe that love. Love is such a powerful thing in our life when it comes to how we portray love. So you could say love comes with hormones. Love is very what you could say, we feel love just to science has no proof on how love is. I cannot openly say I come to you. Well, you could say hormones, you could say all these things with love, but for me to actually envy and come out to you and say I love you and do things with you is, I just feel is a crucial argument in how it affects my life. Third is the amount of evil in the world that we have. So we have tons and tons of evil. And when you have this book of the Bible, and I'm not going to say the Bible is the evidence of the Bible, because I know a lot of people said that, and atheists just don't believe that. So God itself is a true force. If it's, are you saying timeout?
No, not at all. Keep on going. Yeah.
So when it comes to God in itself, if the force and the presence of the Bible and God makes these people act so righteously, make them act a certain way and have them do these things that is morally and ethically good, wouldn't you say that God is a force in itself already? Just based on that, could like the concept alone that God is a force to be reckoned with, you know? Because these people who believe in the Bible are doing good things, doing ethically good things just because they have this belief in God. So that's, I think, my fourth argument. Another thing, like these are all philosophical. Crap. These are all like concepts that I believe in, but there's also like actually a hardcore. There's no hardcore evidence for God itself, but there is people. We can look at the people's lives. Like you could say Jesus is not the Son of Man, but when you look at like how people died because of what Jesus did, the thousands of manuscripts that point into the eyewitness accounts of Jesus Christ. Even the high priest, I was watching a documentary on Caiaphas, who was in the Bible, this man who was so against Jesus and what he was doing, all the miracles he was doing. And he put him to death. When they found his tomb in like the 1900s, he had crucified nails in his tombs, which like indicates like he regretted Jesus's death. He regretted putting this man to die, because as we know from the Bible, and we know from all these eyewitness accounts, even like the apostles and other like Christians, because in the Roman Empire we saw martyrs like throughout the entire history of the Roman Empire. People really want to die on their faith because of what they saw and believed in Jesus. So I yapped a little bit, but if you want to respond, feel free.
Yep, I do. Okay. So I'll return to the life comes from life at the very end, because I'm just going to go through and explain like the rest of all of these. So
okay, cool.
The first argument that I'm going to respond to is the love argument, specifically that you don't think that science can explain when we love people, or specifically when we choose to say I love you. But that's going to be because it's a subjective experience. It's a thing that's experienced in the context of a mind, which is much wider and much deeper. So obviously it's going to be subjective and different for each individual person. The fact of the matter is that we know that love is specifically associated with the neurochemical transmitters related to serotonin and oxytocin, I think, like the closeness chemical and like the happiness chemical. So we actually do have a perfectly scientific explanation for love, and this is like love is just simply how we experience it. I mean, yeah, like you hit the nail on the head that I'd probably say that it comes like that science can explain it. You're absolutely right. Science can explain it. Next, that people can do good things. So first of all, I'm going to say that a large portion of morality comes from evolution, specifically because there's evolutionary pressures that would cause people to act in like good ways that are beneficial to the tribe. Specifically, things like not unaliving your close friends or stealing from them or raping them. This is just going to help your tribe survive better because you're going to have a stronger social structure, which means you're going to work together better, and thus raise your odds of survival and also be closer so that you can successfully reproduce and share or spread your genetics. That means that people are probably, like all else equal, just going to choose to not rape, not murder, and not steal from each other, or just because of the simple fact that it's going to lead to stronger chances of survival, and also that you're not going to get ostracized by your social group. Additionally, there's no correlation between countries which are religious and the rates at which they do specific crimes like intentional unaliving people, rape, things like that, which means that we can't actually draw a correlation between doing good things and being religious. Next, in terms of the eyewitness accounts, fake and bullshit, there's exactly one source that says that Jesus resurrected or that there were eyewitness accounts, and it's the exact source that you're currently trying to prove. You're essentially making a circular argument that the Bible is true because of the eyewitness accounts, which of course presuppose, which are only true if the Bible are true. It's just one big circle where you say that the Bible is true because the Bible is true. But let's end on the life comes from life arguments. I have exactly two questions for you.
Sure.
Is God alive?
No, God is an internal living. I don't know if you can really define what God is, because he's just a presence. He's just like this. He has no beginning. He has no end.
Oh,
he's
so
just
I guess I only have one question for you, and that's the only one that I need. Because if God isn't alive, then in your worldview, life doesn't come from life.
What do you mean by that? Like
you just said that God wasn't alive.
No, what I mean is, well, God is a being and created life, but as we know, like reproduction, like plant life goes from plant life, human life goes to human life, animal life goes to human life. It's not human matter and energy, created to life all of a sudden. It had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, so I would say that it came from abiogenesis, not that it came from like God. But you just said that life must come from life, that it can't come from non-life. But here you are saying that life was created first by God, a thing which you claim is not alive.
I wouldn't say God is not alive. It's just a being. It's just a being. It's not
so
like he's not
is
human,
God alive?
He's not plant. He's not. Okay, then in this instance, then I'll define that he's alive. He's a just God.
Gotcha. Wait, so God is alive. Then I'll ask my second question. Does life end?
Is life end?
Does life end?
Yes, life does end.
Okay. Does God end?
God does not end. He does. That's why I'm saying
Gotcha.
he's not really life, because there's no beginning to end.
Oh, perfect. So then God is not alive.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Oh,
so
wait.
that would just contradict what you said initially, or like just now, and also initially that life comes from life, because God is not alive, but God created life, which means that in my worldview, life comes from non-life, and in your worldview, life comes from non-life.
Okay. Well, in my view, what I'm trying to portray is that when I mean life comes from life, I mean that you cannot pick up like dirt and turn it into life. We don't have that science, and it's never been done. Like you could say like AI is approaching that way, but we can never create life by our hands. We can't do it. We physically cannot do it. So I'm saying that just points to a creator. You know, like the living God or whatever it is, he doesn't have a beginning, he doesn't have an end. You cannot say he's alive or not alive because he doesn't have a beginning, he doesn't have an end.
Yeah. Well, no. So we would because life ends, God does not end. Therefore, God is not life. It's as easy as that. That's how we would conclude that God is not alive. But specifically, we have a theory. We don't say that life just grew out of dirt or whatever, like randomly one day. But we have a theory called abiogenesis, which is how we went from non-life to life. And it goes a little something like this. So in however long ago the conditions were permissible for the formation of the very first life forms. These formed through one of two pathways. Either we had non-living molecules which were self-replicating, and these non-living molecules gained a metabolism, thus becoming life, or we had a thing with metabolism, a non-living thing with metabolism, which then gained the ability to be self-replicating and thus became life. These are the two paths through which life came from in the atheistic worldview.
Okay, so now hitting on that then, it's a theory. You just said it's a theory. Has it been scientifically proven to be an actual thing? Can we do it right now? Because if we can't do it right now and it's a theory, then wouldn't you just say the same thing about the Bible and how God does things? That's also a theory. So there's no proof to neither the Bible nor this abiogenesis that you're trying to claim.
Oh, well, so I enjoy W concession that there's no proof to the Bible, but there is proof to abiogenesis, because we know the conditions under which self-replicating molecules formed, and it was the same conditions as which existed during that time in the Earth's history. And we also know the conditions under which like metabolism forms, and it's those same conditions as well. But I do like the W concession that there's no proof for the Bible. Also, when I say theory, I'm just saying that this is like an explanation for how something happened. Theories have evidence, so it's a comparison of the evidence. This is in line with all the chemistry that's available to us currently, whereas your theory has literally no evidence to support it.
Okay, what about the evidence that I pointed with the martyr? Like I said, the eyewitness accounts is the Bible. So like, I'm not gonna if you want to believe that or not, you don't have to believe that. What about the tombs that were discovered of people who was close to Jesus, or like the apostles? You know, I know this is a hard argument towards atheists, but like I think atheists has a way to counteract. What about the apostles, the way they died? You know, because like human nature is, I wouldn't die for a lie. You know, what about how Peter?
Wait. Let's do one example at a time. Let's not do the Gish Gallop again.
Yeah.
First, I want to point out that this is just a complete pivot and concession away from the life comes from life arguments. That's totally fine.
I mean, if you want to continue talking about that, we can.
Yeah, no, well, that's fine. Like, we don't have to. But I just want to point out that you're like you haven't been able to respond to the arguments, and now you want to talk about something else, which is fine. We can do that. But I just think it's important for the audience to keep track of these things.
Oh, of course. When it comes to abiogenesis, I just don't have enough information on it. That's like, so I can't really argue that. So I'm gonna do my research on it. But like, I still like, it's just if it's a theory and if it exists and like, you know, all that stuff,
yeah, that's fine.
Be able to create life like now, like with science, and obviously we haven't seen it. So
well, yeah, I mean, W can say, but so that's not going to be a reliable metric, specifically because if we went to ancient Athens, we wouldn't be able to prove the existence. Excuse me. we wouldn't be able to prove the existence of like the electron. We just didn't have the technology. But just because we can't like actually recreate it in a laboratory setting doesn't necessarily mean that one, it can't be recreated in a laboratory setting, and two, that it's wrong. So it's just going to be a matter of time. I think that if we go forward for a really long time and still aren't able to do it, that might start to be evidence that it's like not a robust theory, but it's like a relatively recent theory, which means that we should still wait and see if we are able to do it one day. That like just the fact that we can't do it right now isn't evidence that it's not true.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, it hasn't been done before, so I'll do my research on it and like maybe like I'll learn about it. But like I said, if it hasn't been done, like it's just not going to move me away from my faith right now, just because again the life is life thing.
So wait, so you would say if we were in ancient Athens and I couldn't prove to you that the electron exists, would you then conclude that the electron doesn't exist?
Wait, what?
So if we were in ancient Athens and I couldn't prove to you that the electron exists, you would then conclude that the electron doesn't exist? Like it must certainly not exist?
No, the electron 100% exists.
Oh, even if you can't prove it in like ancient Athens?
No, we proved that the electron exists.
In ancient Athens, did we prove that the electron exists?
Did we?
We didn't. That's incorrect. We didn't know that the electron. We didn't know about. Well, we kind of knew about atoms, but some people speculated about atoms. That's all we have.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fine. So, in terms of the apostles giving their lives for a lie, there's literally no source that says that the apostles did this other than the Bible, which again is the source that you're trying to prove. It's another, well, the Bible is true because the resurrection happened because they wouldn't die for a lie, which of course happened because the Bible is true. So unless you can give me a different source that's not the Bible that says that they were unalived for a lie, I'm going to have a hard time accepting it.
How do you explain the mass, like, evolution, I could say, of Christianity then, like during that time? Because as we know, the Roman Empire prosecuted Christians. I could actually, he wasn't an apostle, but his name was Icarius, I think. He was one of he was a big what was he? Crap, my brain's not working. He died by lions. Like they threw him in a pit in the Roman Empire, and then he sat there, got on his knees, prayed to God. The lion laid down, and then the lion got up, and then he died a martyr. And everyone in the stands were just like amazed about like his faith, and he just like again he died.
So he died for a lie. Then that's my explanation. Or so he died because somebody else lied to him.
He died. He believed in Christ so much.
There's martyrs in literally every religion. Like there's people like self-unalive for religions literally all the time.
What like are you talking? Well, name a couple, because I know.
Yeah, well, there's like self-unaliving bombers.
Are you talking about like what do you mean by self?
These exist in like literally every religion.
Okay.
That's fine. I'll just say it. There's like suicide bombers in every religion.
Yeah. Name a couple. So like you have
you want me to name a couple?
Well, actually, no. When we talk about like there's tons and tons of religions out there, but as we know, like the big three is like Muslims, Christianity, and Judaism. And those three all point to the same God. They all point. Obviously, there's some contradictions between the religion, but they all point to the same God, and they all believe of the Word of God. So that's one. Yeah, you could say there's suicide bombers in all religions, but like
wait, you should avoid that word. You should say like self-unaliving bombers. That would be
my bad.
Yeah, it's like better for the algorithm. Yeah. No, but like these people exist in like literally every religion. There's people. You would have to affirm, like you'd be affirming in all these other religions that in like, I don't know, Hinduism, when somebody self-unalives in that way, that they're doing that because somebody lied to them.
Is there like accounts of that happening in Hinduism?
I could probably find it.
Because isn't Hinduism more about the faith, like their like spiritual faith than anything else?
Yeah, I can look for you can just Google like Hindu martyrs. Raja Ibrahim was unalived for. He was under the list of martyrs. 1 second. Let's see what he was unalived for. Oh, well, I mean, his name was just like the martyred king. So presumably he got martyred.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not a lot of information on him, but I could probably find someone. I mean, if you want to come back later, I could try to find someone who has.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll do my research. I follow you, so like, like I'm saying, I'm very interested in this stuff. It's diving me in. Another question for you, like, because Christian, like, I cannot sit here and like stand on this hill and saying there wasn't martyrs in other religions, but like based on the size of Christian.
Oh yeah, sure. Wait, I found one for you. There's a Tirani Debnath who was unalived for demanding for like Hindu equality in his region.
Okay. What is his name?
Tirani Debnath.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do my research on him.
Yep.
So, but as we know, like
Thanks so much for the little crown, Claudia. I appreciate that.
Hinduism is a big religion, but
yeah,
like,
but do you think that this person was unalived for a false belief?
No, I feel like there's truth to Hinduism. They just don't believe. They just don't believe in a god. You know,
they believe in multiple gods.
Multiple. They believe in what isn't it more about their spirituality?
That's Buddhism that you're thinking of.
Buddhism. Okay. Yeah, but either way, they still believe in a god, and that god is a force that makes them act righteously, even if it's multiple gods.
Oh, but so you're saying that there's like some truth to the Hindu gods? No,
I believe in one god. I believe in one god, but I'm just saying, like, just the whole concept of a god and a creator, like, allows like people from all different religions, no matter what's truth, what's false, to act righteously, act in a good way.
Gotcha.
And
wait, so
I feel like
easy question. Do you think Hinduism is false?
I think some concepts from it are true, but the idea of not
Do you think Vishnu exists?
What's Vishnu?
Vishnu is like a Hindu god.
No.
Okay. So if you think that Vishnu doesn't exist, then you think Hinduism at its core is false, even if you think that some parts of it are true, that the most important parts of it are false, that the existence of their pantheon and gods, that these don't actually exist, which means that you would be affirming that this person was unalived for a lie. There's also like the Jamestown stuff where there was like the cult who like self-unalived by, did they drink the Kool-Aid or was this a different one? Yeah, there was like that group of people. So people self-unalive all the time for things that are untrue. Just because they were lied to. Or Jonestown, yeah, not Jamestown.
Jamestown. Okay.
Or wait, maybe it was James. I don't know.
Righteous. Sorry, I'm just reading about. I'm reading about Hindus and martyrs.
No, wait. That's totally fine. But like, let's get back to it. So,
sure.
I think that like, so the only recorded people are people who don't actually claim to have seen Jesus resurrected. They just have like a lot of faith in it.
It's a lot of faith, yeah.
Which is fine, but that doesn't prove that it's true, because you can have a lot of faith in something that's wrong insofar as you don't have evidence for it. Like these people weren't making the claim that they saw Jesus resurrecting and then are later being tortured and like unalived by a lion because they saw Jesus resurrecting. They believed other people who said that Jesus resurrected when in fact he did not.
I'm actually curious what I agree, like, you know, martyrism, but like the thing is, like, it has to start from somewhere, right? Like you have Jesus Christ, and we know from the Bible, and again, like, I'm not saying that this as evidence, we know from the Bible that Jesus, the resurrected Jesus, showed himself to 500 individuals. They didn't say who, they didn't say anything. He was on earth for 40 days. That's all we know from the Bible.
Well, yeah, this is just using the Bible to prove the Bible.
Yeah, he was, just, I'm trying to use this to get to my point.
Yeah.
By him being on the earth for 40 days, the resurrected Jesus, and showing himself to everyone, you know, who believes in him, that itself should be a spark to the Christianity that we have today. That's the reason why we have it's mass flood all over the world. You know, like those 500 people had to start somewhere. Even if we don't know their names, they saw a resurrected Jesus. They know they saw a resurrected Jesus, and they went out and spread the good word. You know,
literally
how
no
do we?
evidence of
What about? There's no physical evidence, but the evidence is Christianity today, how large it is.
I mean, people spread lies all the time. I mean, the lie of Christianity makes people feel better about themselves, that the world is hard to explain in many ways. And belief in a god makes it easier to explain. There's like a history of these things called boat cults, which existed during colonial times. There were like these indigenous islanders, and there was like colonists who came on with their boats and brought like weapons that they've never seen before and goods which they have no idea how to make. And because they didn't know these things, they just assumed that boats were gods. And they started worshiping boats because they simply didn't understand it. Similarly, Christianity helps you understand things that might otherwise be hard to understand. It answers a lot of questions and takes away a lot of anxieties. But just because it takes away anxieties and answers questions doesn't mean that these questions are correctly answered or these anxieties are justly taken away. Christianity actually is cope.
Okay, cope.
Yeah, it's spread because it makes people feel better.
Okay, so then if okay, that's one cool thing. What about the teachings of Jesus? How do you like you made it known that you do not believe Jesus is the Son of God? How do you describe Jesus as a person? How do you think that he became as big of a figure as he is today? What do you?
Well, yeah, I mean the spreading of Christianity. Like there's just this like
the spreading of Christianity.
The spreading of a lie. Yeah.
So do you believe that what Jesus did throughout his life is false? Do you think that everything that has happened in Christianity, obviously you don't believe in the resurrection. Obviously you don't believe in the resurrection, but do you believe in his ministry? Do you believe what he did? Do you believe of him?
I have no idea. There's we really don't have any reliable sources on it. I'm agnostic. There could be some parts of his life probably could be accurately represented, and then there's other parts of his life that are almost certainly not. Shaney, thanks so much for the heart. I appreciate that.
Because when we look at the first century, like there is so many names, so many forgotten names, and because it was so long ago, as we know, like things fade away. But from all history books, from everything, Jesus is the one name that we know today. The one name, the most famous name of them all. Everyone knows the name Jesus.
Well, it's because Christianity is spread so wide because
it's so big. Exactly.
Yeah, it allows people to cope with an otherwise unknowable world. But that's all it is. It's just cope.
And then even looking at the Bible itself, and look like literally spreading out verse from verse all the way out. There's the Bible was written by 40 different authors throughout 1,500 years, all the way out. There's 69 cross references in the Bible itself, which I think is another hardcore evidence showing the handiwork of God. Like verse on verse of author to author is just like there's. Do you think that there's any contradictions in the Bible itself?
Innumerable. Yes, correct. Wait, so it says, do you think God knows everything?
God knows and everything. Yes.
Yeah. So do you think that if you know everything, is it possible for you to learn anything?
God can't. I don't think he should be able to learn anything if he knows everything.
Yeah, perfect. So that contradicts the Bible. It says in Luke 2:52 that Jesus grew in wisdom and stature. How do you grow in wisdom if you already know everything?
Okay, so Jesus himself. Okay, so the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Jesus himself pardoned himself, limited his power to become flesh and man. That he became sin. He became limited his power. So he became a human being. So by becoming a human being, his power is limited. Yes, he could work these miracles, but he grows with wisdom. He learns from people. He became a human flesh to learn from the people around him.
Does God necessarily know everything then?
No, God does know everything, but Jesus
is
the
Jesus
Holy Trinity
God?
is such a complex. What?
Well, yeah, the Trinity is nonsense, which is why saying it's hard to understand doesn't actually help you out here. My point is that it's like direct nonsense.
Concept.
Like there's no way to rectify this.
Yeah, the Holy Trinity is such a hard concept, but the way I'm processing this question right now is God the Father is almighty, knows all, ends all, and we discussed this. Then you have Jesus Christ the Son, who becomes a human being, becomes flesh, okay? He has the wisdom of his himself. He has because he is God, but what he doesn't have the wisdom of, because he hasn't lived among human beings, is human life. As we can tell, reading the life of Jesus, there's times that he's like, woe to you Pharisees, or when two of his apostles ask, hey, Jesus, can I sit at the left hand and the right hand of your Father? And then Jesus is absolutely blown away by this question and saying, well, you don't know what you're asking. He grows with wisdom based on the idea and concept of the humans around him by living with us.
So, okay, because you said that God necessarily knows everything. You said that Jesus is God. The conclusion of this is that Jesus necessarily knows everything.
Jesus himself knows what he created. Jesus doesn't know
So which
sin.
of these
That's
two
what I'm
do
saying.
you reject?
He doesn't know sin. He doesn't
Do you
know
reject
sin.
do you reject that God necessarily knows everything, or do you reject that Jesus is God?
I reject the concept that Jesus is a part of God and not the full
Wait, those
divine
I'm
being.
asking you, which of my two premises do you
Okay,
reject? I gave
shoot.
two premises and a conclusion. You just want to reject the conclusion and accept the two premises. That's not how logic works.
Give me the premises again.
Yeah, so the premise is that God necessarily knows everything, and Jesus is God.
And Jesus is God. God knows everything, the first one.
Yep, you want to reject that God knows everything.
No, I don't want to reject that God
Okay,
knows
so you want to
God knows
reject that
everything.
Jesus is God?
Then I reject. I'm not rejecting Jesus as God. No, Jesus is
So
God.
if you don't reject that
reject
Jesus
the
is God,
concept.
you reject the first one?
I don't reject neither of those.
Okay, then this is going to be unfortunately the way the logic works out on this one. If someone is God, then they know everything. Jesus is God, therefore Jesus knows everything.
Yeah, no. This is not what I'm like. You're confusing me. What I'm saying is that you have your divine being, okay? You have God. God knows all, bees all, okay? Then you have Jesus Christ, who is a part of God, just like the Holy Spirit, a part of God. He limited his power, right? Because God does not know sin. He does not know sin whatsoever. He did not create sin. He allowed us to give us a free will to do sin, right? So by Jesus becoming a human being, right? Jesus is God, but he does not know sin. By not knowing sin, by living among sin, okay, he's growing with wisdom based on how humans act. He is the Son of God.
You said Jesus is a part of God?
He is a part of God. Yes.
Gotcha. So if Jesus is just a part of God, you think that he isn't fully God?
No, he's not fully God. No, God is
that's
made
blasphemy.
into three.
You're saying that Jesus is not fully God. This is blasphemy. This is heresy.
Jesus is God. Jesus is the Son of God. He's still a part.
But
Like
if you
the
think
Father,
that
Son, and
he's
Holy Spirit.
like just a part of God, that Jesus is not fully God, then this is blasphemy.
No, he is fully God. He is fully God, but he doesn't know sin. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about sin itself. He doesn't know sin.
So Jesus is fully God. So
yes.
That actually means that you can't get out of this with like a partialist explanation if Jesus is fully God, because that implies that that God is not parts, that there isn't like three parts of God, but rather that all of them are fully God, which means that you still have to bite into the bullet that if somebody is God, then they know everything. Jesus is God, therefore Jesus knows everything. And maybe we could like work our way up to that. Let's do another syllogism really quickly, or like two syllogisms. So if someone is a man, then they are mortal. Socrates is a man. What do we know about Socrates?
Is Socrates immortal?
Socrates is mortal. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So if it rains, the male will be late. It rained. What do we know about the male?
Repeat.
So if it rains, the male will be late. It rained. What do we know about the male?
The male will be late.
Yep, perfect. So if someone's God, they know everything. Jesus is God. What do we know about Jesus?
That Jesus knows everything.
Perfect.
Right?
So if Jesus knows everything, then how does he learn anything?
How does he learn it? Because he learns by living among us.
Okay, but like, he knows everything.
No. Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, so what's that verse again?
This is Luke 2:52.
And what does that verse say? He grew with wisdom.
Yeah, he grew in wisdom and stature.
Jesus grew with wisdom and stature. What was the verse before it? What is the story that indicates towards?
Yeah, I mean we can read it.
Yeah. Because it's more like he knows.
This is the boy Jesus at the temple.
Oh, is this when he was a little boy?
Yeah.
It's more of the concept like Jesus, like I said, Jesus is God. Is just the hard things that Christians can't wrap themselves around is how God became human flesh. And then by him becoming human flesh, like he learned among us. But like what you're saying about God knowing everything, it's just the Holy Trinity as a whole. It's just such a hard concept for like Christians to, grasp. And I still believe in the idea that Jesus himself learned through us learned about sin. That's it. Like God knows sin exists. He knows everything. He knows all be all. But by allowing sin, he doesn't know sin. That's just what I'm saying.
Okay,
Like,
wait. So is knowledge of sin knowledge?
knowing sin exists is knowing sin exists.
No.
Knowing
But
how
is
we
like
do
the
sin is
specific
different.
knowledge that Jesus gained knowledge?
What?
Is the knowledge Jesus gained knowledge?
Jesus did gain knowledge.
Yeah, perfect.
By
So-
knowing sin, by learning sin.
Yeah, so then Jesus didn't know everything.
I mean, I guess if you look at that, sure.
Okay,
Jesus
so
did not know
then
everything.
if Jesus did, so then you would affirm a contradiction that Jesus both knows everything and also does not know everything.
He doesn't know sin. That's the only thing he does not know.
Okay, so then you would say that God does not know everything.
God does not know sin because God is a loving and just God. He does
Gotcha.
not
So
know sin.
so you would affirm just like very directly, because there's a different verse in the Bible which says explicitly that God knows everything. So you would reject this verse in the Bible because God does not know sin.
No, I didn't. Like, I feel like the concept of sin, like, God knows it exists, but he doesn't, like, it's good. Like, he doesn't know, because sin is bad and evil. Like, God doesn't know, like, I think the concept, the idea here is the doing of sin. That's what God does not, like, he knows it, but obviously because he's a just and loving God, he cannot do sin.
So in 1 John 3:19
There's no sin
through
in heaven.
20, in 1 John 3:19 through 20, it says, God knows everything.
What?
So you think that you would affirm both that God knows everything and also
God
that there's
knows
a thing
everything,
that
but, like-
God doesn't know, specifically sin?
Yeah, he doesn't know sin.
Okay, so you would say that God knows everything and also that he doesn't know sin.
He just doesn't know, because sin is evil.
Gotcha.
He's
So
like-
then we have a direct contradiction. That you can't. So if you know everything, then there is nothing you do not know. If there's something that you do not know, that means you do not know everything. God doesn't know sin. Therefore, God does not know everything. So we just have a direct contradiction.
Okay, I guess we're not just gonna. Yeah, all right. I agree with you on that.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's fine. It's like something to, I'm not trying to.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah,
you're fine.
I'm not
You're
expecting
so-
you to say like you like give up your religion right now, but it's like something for you to think about, like a contradiction for you to try to reconcile.
No, it's just like I'm just trying to like find words to like put this into like book, because like it's just so broad saying he knows all and he doesn't know all and stuff like that. But like the idea of sin and the concept of the Holy Trinity is just something like, I'm no pastor. I'm just like I'm just graduated the Air Force Academy, so like I'm like I'm no pastor, none of that, and I'm like I only know like some little things and stuff like that based on the recent readings I've been doing. Because like now I'm trying to get involved. I don't know if you've seen the show The Chosen. Like that show is like absolutely fantastic. Like it really like draws you, like it really gets you to understand who Jesus is and what he does. So the one big idea that like when it comes to Christianity, like I threw to you before, and yeah, again, you as an atheist, you gave me solid points to not contradict it. But like as a Christian, like I just need to do more research. But on top of things, like the biggest thing is just Jesus Christ himself. Like even with the Bible, the Bible cannot prove the Bible. There's the cross references. The atheists believe that the Bible can't prove the Bible, but it's just the idea how his name grew so far for a lie. I just don't. And it's saying it's cope, but like, I just think the whole concept of God, just the idea, the force, all the good that the Bible teaches and stuff like that, the fact that it's a concept and a force as a whole allows people to act righteously and act good. Wouldn't you say that like that is good for the world, having that religion?
No, because there's no correlation between countries that are highly religious and countries that do like very religious actions. There's like, if you lay out all the statistics of all the countries, there just turns out to be like no correlation between things like unaliving rate and the rate at which that their religion or at which that they're religious. So if you, it just doesn't seem to bring like too much value into the world. And it's also doing things which are like deeply wrong. So for example, the Oklahoma superintendent recently mandated, effective immediately, that that in every single class in Oklahoma, there will be lessons from the Bible for public schools. That's crazy. That's like super evil. That goes fundamentally against the idea of like freedom of religion. And it's disgusting. So people are using religion for like really nefarious things, in my opinion.
I feel like they're like interpreting, like, yeah, I guess that's true, because like throughout history, like when it comes to like religion as a whole, like there should be a separation of church and state and all that stuff. But like the Bible itself is like just being able to like understand it, and like tons and tons of people have like dissected it and tried to understand it. And that's why we have the different kinds of religions when it comes to like the different dissections of Christianity as a whole, because people are trying to grasp the concepts and the teachings of Jesus Christ, and just like how to actually understand and act in a righteous way. Is just like, just today, just looking at pastors and people like, you know, who like read the Bible and want to like be close to God, and like, you know, when it comes to sinning and stuff like that, they're acting in a good way, you know, because of the stuff in the Bible today. Like when it comes to history, yeah, the Bible was used as pretty much a way to like tell someone they're wrong, and that's like going against the teachings of Jesus Christ. Jesus has always taught about, you know, love your enemies, love everyone and stuff like that. And just those entire concepts, and there's just the philosophy of me reading the Bible and getting these ideas make me like, even like we're disagreeing right now, doesn't make me not want to respect you. I respect you highly. You know, you're very intelligent. You know, you're coming on here.
Well, I mean, you were very respectful as well. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate the conversation, but
no, of course.
Do you have anything else? Otherwise, I probably need to move on to the next guest.
Oh, yeah. No, you're good. If you want to move on to someone else, you're fine. I really appreciate this.
Yeah.
I'll be back with more topics.
Yeah, definitely. Please. No, this was a great conversation. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right.
Adios.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Hey, make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Super proud of getting 100K likes. That's pretty cool. Make sure you're dropping a follow if you want to help me grow even larger, grow the platform out. If you're enjoying the debates, never want to miss a debate in the future. The easiest way to do that is to drop a follow to make sure that you never do. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen. Let's get all the way up to 120K likes. Share it with your friends. Drop a comment as well as we get locked and loaded up for the next debate. If you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support, and thank you all so much. If you additionally, if you're in that guest request box, the Venmo or the not the Venmo, be 18 or older, believe in a God, and specifically believe in the Christian, Jewish, or the Muslim God. If you don't believe in one of those three, I'm not going to talk to you. But with that, we'll go to the very next guest. But double tap on that screen, share with your friends. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. How old are you?
I am 46.
Hey, thanks for all the roses and the heart me's. I appreciate that. Thank you all so much. And what religion are you?
I am non-denominational. I don't even call myself religious.
Okay, but you're like you're a Christian, right?
I used to be. I no longer identify as a Christian.
Okay, I'm only looking for debates with people who are Jewish, Muslim, or Christian. If that's not you, that's like totally cool. I just don't have anything to really discuss with you. So only request to join if you are Christian, Jewish, or Muslim. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Fly away? Are you there? Okay. But keep on double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, dropping a comment. Good for the health of the stream. You can leave as many likes as you want. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hello.
How old are you?
I am in late 30s.
Okay, and what religion are you?
I'm a Christian.
Okay, so what's your strongest argument that isn't like personal experience for the existence of the Christian God?
The creation of which we see around us, all of the things, trees, life, wind, only life can come from life.
Okay, so do you think God is alive?
I'm sorry?
Do you think God is alive?
Do I think God is alive? Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so you think God is alive. Does life end?
Physical life ends, but
what's non-physical life? I think I'm unfamiliar with this.
Okay, so non-physical life, I mean, if we're energy, right? And energy can't be destroyed, altered, or whatever three Newtonian laws. I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm sorry, I've never been on a multi-guest platform thing.
You're chilling, but so when you say okay, maybe let's get clearer about, because I'm not sure what physical life has to do with non-physical life, or why we would categorize these two things together. So, what makes something alive? Like, what's your definition of life?
Something that came from something living, not fake or artificial intelligence type of.
Gotcha. Something that came from something living is going to be considered alive. Did God come from something living?
God was and always has been.
Okay, so God did not come from something else, which means that God did not come from something living, which means that God does not fit under your definition of life, which means that in your worldview, life did not come from life, and in my worldview, life also didn't come from life. So it seems like we're just at the same footing.
But I always thought, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're chilling.
But for me, the way I read and understood the Bible in terms of the life I see around me, it is for God, because He has been since the beginning of time. There's no putting a timestamp on that. We're but a speck of, this is but a speck of dust in this crazy life. God doesn't fit the definition of a mortal human, or in that physical sense.
Well, wait, yeah, but so you said your definition of life is something that comes from something else that is alive.
Correct.
This
And
doesn't
the only
seem to,
thing-
but if God did not come from, so you agree that God did not come from anything.
Or everything, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he didn't come from anything.
Or everything, he just has always been.
Yep. So if God did not come from anything, that means God did not come from life. Do you agree?
I understand your argument, yes.
Yeah. So then you would agree that under the definition you gave, that life is something that came from life, that God did not come from life, therefore God is not a thing that came from life, and therefore under your definition of life, God is not alive.
Well, I guess because and I guess that's where, you have to look and use the Bible as your source of where the belief came from, and knowing God will be, and will continue to be forever.
That just doesn't really engage with my argument. Like, you agree that, so would you agree that in both of our worldviews, in my world and your world, life does not come from life? That life was created by something not alive?
Well, by that definition of a pulse or breathing air, then yeah, I agree to that.
Yeah, perfect. So cool. Then that takes care of like the first argument. So let's go back to your other arguments. So you said that it's like impossible to explain the existence of like trees or like wind or any of these other things. So why can these things have not come from natural processes like evolution or abiogenesis?
Well, when I look into evolution, and correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding of evolution is that things will change over time, correct?
Things will change over. So not
Well, then
things.
we
It's
evolve.
that life will become better adapted over a long enough period of time.
Okay. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Can you go back to what your question was?
Yeah. So why could things like life or trees not come from natural processes like evolution?
It'd be the chicken and the egg argument. Wouldn't that be chasing the tail? And that's why God is.
What do you mean
That is
chasing
why, because
tail?
it's the whole argument of the chicken and the egg, correct?
No.
Which
Well, so
first?
you think that that all these things that God just poofed them into existence. I think these things evolved. So we're comparing two hypotheses about where life and trees and wind came from. I'm saying that it came from natural processes. You're saying that it came from supernatural processes. So
Correct.
why could these things not come from natural processes?
Well, I mean, you know what the actual process of having this life, create life, would be very impossible for a supreme being. I'm sorry, my kid came in here. One second, let me just here.
Do you want to go take care of that, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, actually, can I come right back? I think, by the way, can I just say, I have seen so many of these debate things, and you are by far one of the best and most respectful debaters, and I
Thank
really
you. I
think that
appreciate that.
I will request again as soon as I get my kids situated, so I won't just be rumbling and mumbling.
Yeah. You might you might show up close to the top. If I see you, I can definitely bring you back up. Although there's like a chance I might not see you in like the.
Oh, and even in the future, I just
Yeah,
I appreciate like this kind of thing. It gets my mind thinking as well, and so thank you, and
Yeah.
I'll request again. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on up here. Hey, make sure you're double tapping on that screen if you want to support the stream. The Venmo's allegedly-Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much, and thanks so much for the gifts. I'm sorry if I like missed shouting you out, but I do appreciate literally all of them. But if you let's get all the way up to 140k likes. We're almost there. You can leave as many likes as you want. It's going to be a good old time. If you're in those guest request box, make sure you're 18 or older, that you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and that you're not driving. Those are the only stipulations. Hey, what's up? How's it going, IHOP?
Hello.
How old are you?
I'm 16.
You got to be 18 or older in order to request to join. Sorry about that. But keep on dropping a follow, double tapping on that screen. Hey, what's up? How's it going? All right, I accept your surrender. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Ian, I actually didn't mean to join this. My bad.
Yeah, it is your bad. Don't do it again. Otherwise, we'll have problems. But make sure you keep on double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, dropping a comment, follow, etc. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Not much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. How old are you?
How old am I? A lot older than you are.
Yeah, that's fine. So what religion are you?
Religion. No religion necessarily. You say God isn't real. I say he is. So
what do you think that like Jesus is the son of God? Because I'm only looking for debates with people who are Christian, Jewish, or Muslim.
This is a stupid thing to debate, but to answer your question, yes, I believe Jesus is the son of God.
Yeah, perfect. So if it's a stupid thing to debate, I'm not too sure why you're up here. I mean, typically if I think that something's a stupid thing to do, then I simply don't do it.
I said having a debate is stupid. I didn't say having a conversation is stupid. So
well, it's it's titled debates, but that's fine. So what's your strongest argument for the existence of the Christian God?
What are you trying to convince people of?
I'm trying to convince people not to believe in God because it has real effects on real people. Your fake religion has real effects on real people. Like the Oklahoma superintendent recently mandated that the Bible will be taught in every single course of every single public school. That to me is insane, like absolutely crazy that people who bear your religion are forcing it on people who do not bear your religion legally and mandatorily.
Why? What are the ramifications you believe will occur by teaching someone the Bible? The negative ramifications, I guess I should say.
I guess I'd ask you a similar question. Do you think it would be wrong if we taught the Quran to everybody in public schools? Like if we exclusively taught just the Quran, verses from it to every single person in public schools, would you have a problem with that? Maybe.
Why can't you answer the question first?
Yeah, so it's not their religion. It's also not true. I think that schools should teach people things that are true, and the Bible is distinctly not.
Based on what?
Yeah, based on logic, based on philosophy, based on evidence.
What evidence proves the Bible wrong?
Sure. So let's just talk about like the physical evidence that might be relevant to school specifically. The Bible teaches that outer space is water, and that there's like a hard dome or like a firmament that keeps the water above. It says in Genesis 1:6-8 that God created a vault, the sky. Yeah, God created a vault, the sky. Oh, I accept your surrender. Damn. Bro really had nothing. Folded like a chair, scrambled like an egg. Way too easy. Bravest Christian, by the way. Hey, thanks so much for the perfume. I appreciate that. And thanks so much for the TikTok. I appreciate that too. It's very kind of you.
Hey, yo, what's up?
Double tapping on that screen. Let's get all the way up to 140K likes. Hey, what's up? How you doing? What
Hey, what's
religion
up?
are you?
Why do you not believe that God isn't real?
Oh, for which God are we talking?
I'm a Christian, Orthodox Christian.
Yeah, okay. So let's run the problem of divine hiddenness. So I think that if God wants us to choose him, it makes literally no sense that he's so hidden from us. So would you say that God wants us to choose him more than he wants anything else?
God is not hidden.
God is hidden. So what's the evidence that, so what's the evidence that God is not hidden?
Okay, bro, which year are we now?
What?
What year are we currently in?
What year are we currently in? We're in the year,
my English is not...
we're in the year 2024.
Yeah, 2024 years after what?
So after the people say AD after death, that's fine. Like just because
Yeah,
Jesus
but after
died
the
doesn't mean that he
yeah,
resurrected. Like we also don't know. I mean, it's just going to come down to lore, right?
Okay, so Jesus dies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so where's his body now?
Oh, I mean, where's like any of the people who died? Like probably decomposed?
Exactly, Jesus went to heaven.
No, I said decomposed.
He rise again.
I said decomposed. I think you wanted me to say that Jesus resurrected, but my answer was that he decomposed. Sorry.
No,
Probably in a
Jesus
mass
resurrected.
grave with a bunch of other people who were crucified at the time.
Okay, then how do you prove that my religion is wrong?
Yeah,
And it's
cool.
false?
Yeah, I just did. Yeah, so because you said that there's like tons of evidence that that God exists, and then you folded immediately. Like you gave your strongest piece of evidence that Jesus resurrected. I gave basic pushback on it, and here you are folding and pivoting away. Like that's the evidence that I need. That there's no evidence that God exists, and yet God expects us to pick him. God is hidden from us, but wants us to pick him. That's illogical.
Okay, but do you believe Jesus was a real person?
I think Jesus was a real person.
Then what do you believe he taught?
We have no idea. I think that the Bible is an inaccurate account.
Then where does the Bible come from?
The Bible came from whoever wrote the Bible however many years afterwards. Like
Yes,
this comes from people who wrote it like 120 years after in egregious cases. It was written anonymously.
No, bro, the Bible comes from the 12 apostles who
Oh,
lived
okay.
with
So
Jesus.
do you have an argument that's more substantive than nah?
What?
Because so I'll give you a reason why that's not true. So we know that Luke wasn't written by Luke because it was written 80 to 120 years after the unaliving of Jesus Christ. We know that I think it's what are the four Gospels?
I mean, Luke,
It
Mark,
was,
John, and
Mark,
Matthew.
Matthew. Oh yeah, we know Matthew is like an illiterate fisherman, I believe.
No, Matthew was a taxman.
Oh wait, not Matthew. Was it Mark or was it John?
Fisherman was Peter.
Oh, Peter. No, but I thought it was like a family of fishermen.
I think John and Andrew.
Yeah. So John. Yeah. So we know that you'd be claiming that John was written by an illiterate fisherman who literally did not know how to write.
He saw God. God taught him how to write.
Yeah. God taught him how to be like a brilliant writer, like this wonderful, perfect Greek prose.
Jesus taught everyone.
Yeah,
Even taught
but
teachers.
that's not going to be the case though, because Peter is again an illiterate fisherman. Like it's not easy to pick these things up when you're already like grown up. Like you don't just learn to write at this age.
Like fishermen can't write.
At that time, they didn't, because they taught these skills based on necessity.
Yes, but John was actually like taught by the rabbis in the synagogue.
Oh yeah. So when did that happen? Do you have any evidence? Is there like a Bible verse that says that John was taught taught how to write in the synagogue by the rabbis?
And is there any Bible verse that says John did know how to write?
But the burden of proof is on you. You're making this claim that John did this thing, and your evidence is nothing. You're making the affirmative claim that this thing did happen, and you can't substantiate it because you have no evidence.
Like, okay, then who wrote John?
It was written anonymously. We don't know.
And what about Matthew?
Written anonymously. We don't know.
Matthew was a tax collector, so he knew how to read.
Yeah, but there's I mean, if you want, we could get somebody who probably knows more about this than I do. I could bring up like Matt, like the Rockin' librarian, to tell you the problems with the idea that Matthew was written by Matthew. But we can just look up like when was Matthew written.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it was so Matthew was written around 85 CE. So unless Matthew was written by a 120-year-old Matthew, then it seems like Matthew was not written by Matthew.
The writing of Matthew was found that time. Matthew wrote everything down and made a book.
No, because it was written. The scholarly consensus is that it was written in the year 85 CE.
85 CE. You mean year 85?
Yep. Yeah, so unless you think that Matthew wrote this at the age of 120, then you would be saying that that Matthew is actually not written by Matthew. All these things were written like way long after the authors of them would be no longer alive.
The things were found after the author's deaths.
No, they were composed. I'm not saying that this is when they were found. I'm saying that this is when they were written. This is just a tracking failure on your part.
No, he wrote it by the time he was alive.
Yeah, so what's your source that he wrote it by the time he was alive?
Like who would make something up, bro?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, you're making something up right now because I'm giving you a source right now. This is according to pbs.org, an introduction to the Gospels. So unless you think that, so I'm providing a source for the claim that these were not written within the lifetime of the disciples, whereas you're making the claim that it was with no evidence. So if I have a source saying that you're wrong, why would I accept your word just saying like, trust me, bro, it was definitely written at the same time?
Because it is, bro.
Oh, gotcha. Do you have an argument that's more substantive than like, well, that's just the way it is? Or did you leave your good arguments in your other pants?
What does that even mean?
I'm saying that you don't have an argument.
Yes, you don't either.
No, I do. I have a source saying that it wasn't written at the time that it would make sense for it to be written. I think that this is just like a fundamental tracking failure on your part.
And who says that?
PBS.org.
Was PBS at the time?
PBS works with scholars in the field who are able to use historical context and evidence to correctly and accurately date these things back to the time period that they were from.
How do they do that?
I'm not sure. I'm not like a historian. I don't work with historical documents, but I'm sure that they have a good way, probably based on like a changing in the writings or discourse, that there was probably like a lot of pieces written about these pieces at around the same time when they emerged, because that typically is what happens, right? Like when Socrates existed, there was a complete shift in all of the writings in ancient Athens to now we have Plato talking about him, and we have Aristotle talking about him, and we have Aristophanes talking about him. When big things happen like this, when things are released, there's like lots of discussion about it, which was probably present at around that time. But again, I'm not too certain because I'm not a historian, but I'm sure a historian could better answer that question for you. The fact of the matter is that the historical consensus puts it well outside of the lifespan of any of the disciples.
So you just believe that it was written after their death?
I don't know how to make it any clearer to you that is exactly what I think. Yes.
So now I know what you believe, but now let me ask another question. Like when you see a paint, like a picture, you know that it was painted, right?
Yeah, because so the difference is that we know that paintings come from painters. We don't know where universes come from. We have priors as to where a painting arose from, whereas we don't have priors as to where universes come from.
And where do we come from as humans?
Oh, well, at what stage of the development?
Not like the first human.
Oh, the first human came from a Homo erectus. We evolved from Homo erectus.
What's Homo erectus? Like
so we're Homo sapien, and we came from Homo erectus. There was, it doesn't make sense to say that there was like a first human. It's just that Homo erectus eventually evolved and blended into Homo sapien.
So you're saying monkeys transform.
No, we're not monkeys. We're apes.
Apes?
Yeah, humans are apes. Correct.
Wait, let me just see what apes mean, because my English is not my first language.
Yeah, so apes is like a category, right? It's like chimpanzees are a really close relative to us.
Oh, so they ain't humans.
What?
They are not humans.
Yes, correct. They're like a close relative to humans. We had a common ancestor a couple million years ago, but we're all great apes.
But how do like you mean, can a dog like right now become another creature?
No, because evolution is a process that takes like millions of years. So if you wait long enough, eventually the species dog will evolve into a different species. But
how is that even possible?
Yeah, so it's possible through the evolutionary mechanisms that there's genetic mutations, and that from these genetic mutations, some are going to be advantageous and they're going to be selected for, some are going to be non-advantageous and they're not going to be selected for, and some are going to be neutral, which means that they'll be neutrally selected for. Given enough time, the things that are going to be positively, or not, I'm sorry, I'm using the word selected, it's like misleading language because it's not actually selected. Positive adaptations are going to be formed via evolution over a long enough period of time because some genetic mutations are going to be advantageous and they're going to help the person who has them survive, which means that the person who has them and survives with them is going to be able to spread their genetics far and wide, which is going to allow their genetics to propagate, and eventually it's going to lead to evolution and into a different species given enough time.
Alright, so like you believe we have a spirit or not?
I don't believe in a spirit. No, I'm a naturalist.
How do we feel like? But can you pinch yourself? Do you feel hurt? Right?
Yeah, through like neurotransmitters. Yeah.
Yeah, where do feelings come from?
Where do feelings come from? Evolution. That there's a good evolutionary reason why we would want to be averse to things like pain. That pain is a bad thing. Pain indicates to us that our body's like integrity could be compromised and that we need to remove ourselves from this situation and be averse to it. Otherwise, we're going to be compromised when something like pierces through our flesh or whatever and our organs spill out. So if we want to survive, we need to be averse to pain. So this is just something that would have formed via evolution.
I'm not talking only about pain, right?
Yeah. Well, that's going to be true of every feeling. Every feeling has useful purposes, which is why it exists. We don't have any feelings which are just completely useless.
But bro, you can't take out blood. Like, let's take love for example. Like,
thanks so much, Peters, for the pinch face.
And you can find blood, like love in your blood.
You can find love in your blood?
If you take out or some DNA or some things like that, you can't find the feelings.
You can find feelings in your blood? I have no idea what that even means.
You can't. I said you cannot.
Yes, correct, because feelings exist in our brain. But if you did like a cat or like a scan of your brain, you would see specific sections, specific regions of the brain light up during specific feelings. If you evaluated the neurochemical transmitters, you would see specific transmitters activating during specific feelings, because we know that things like serotonin is associated with happiness, oxytocin is associated with like closeness and love, cortisol is associated with like anxiety or like a feeling of like do something. Zen, thank you so much for the Lucy. I appreciate that. W Zen in the comment section. That's so kind of you.
No, bro. Feelings like come from a spirit.
I know that's your conclusion. Do you have any evidence for the existence of a spirit?
And do you have any evidence of the existence of your feelings?
Warner, thanks so much for the friendship. I appreciate that. Huge W, Warner. I appreciate you. Any evidence for the existence of what? For the existence of
feeling coming from your brain or of what
yes, we have a mountain of evidence. We know that these are the neurochemical transmitters. We know that when these neurochemical transmitters activate, that there's an associated activation in specific regions of the brain indicating that this causes a specific feeling. And we also know by talking to the person that when they are experiencing this activation in their brain, that they feel happy or sad or anxious or any of these other things. Yeah, we have like kind of an overwhelming amount of evidence that feelings exist in the brain, whereas we have zero evidence that feelings exist in the soul.
Like, I never heard of evidence that feeling exists in the brain, bro. Like, you're just making things up.
You think I'm the one who's making things up? You think that there's no evidence that feelings exist in the brain? You actually
Yes.
think that? This is like very
Yeah.
basic research. This is like neurology 101.
Yes, I do think that.
Okay. Yeah, you're like more than welcome to be wrong. I mean, if you just want to keep on saying the crazy claim, you can say the crazy claim as many times as you want. It just makes your position look worse.
No, I'm not making the crazy claim. You are, bro.
Okay, yeah. So I'm the one who thinks that feelings are a result of neurochemical transmitters, and I think that we can discern when people are feeling specific things just by brain scans. And you think that feelings exist in a soul, and the brain scans are what?
No, bro. I meant the crazy. Yeah, I know, bro. English is not my first language. I mean, you're making the crazy claim by saying God isn't real, because like we cannot be created by something like Big Bang, bro.
Huge pivot. Let's talk about the Big Bang. That's fine. Why not?
Alright, let's talk about the Big Bang. Where's the evidence of the Big Bang?
Yeah, so the evidence for the Big Bang comes specifically from the cosmic microwave background radiation. This is radiation that exists at every point in the universe, and it essentially indicates that the universe used to be in an extremely hot, extremely dense state. That's the first point of evidence. The universe was small. We now know the universe is a lot bigger. We know that the universe has expanded quite a bit. That's the second point of evidence. Third point of evidence, the universe is still expanding. This is indicated by like the physicists' calculations that this is what's going on in the universe. So we know universe was small, got a lot bigger via expansion, and is still expanding. So that's the Big Bang. The Big Bang is like almost certainly true.
So, you have any evidence for the Big Bang, or
I just laid it out for you.
that wasn't evident?
You think the cosmic microwave background radiation isn't evidence? You think that the fact that the universe is now much bigger than it used to be isn't evidence?
How do you know the universe was so smaller?
The cosmic microwave background radiation. It indicates that 10 to the negative 33 seconds after the start of the universe, or the start of it, like current form of the universe was extremely small, around the size of a human. It was extremely hot. It was extremely dense. We now know that it's a lot bigger than the size of a human, just based on the fact that there's like more than just humans. Or there's like enough space in the universe for more than just one human. There's quite a bit more space than that, actually.
Yeah, bro. But we believe that God created everything. Like,
So you're just wrong then.
No, you're wrong, bro. I ain't wrong.
Okay, well, I mean, I can provide evidence for my belief, and it seems like you just have no evidence for any of this. It's just like feelings and vibes. Like, you want to hear the scientific explanation, and then after I give a detailed account of the scientific explanation, you want to be like, no, bro, that didn't happen. Not the case.
Detail makes no fucking sense, bro.
Oh, it seems like just a tracking failure or like a skill issue.
Like, doesn't make sense to anyone.
Oh, it makes sense to everybody who's like scientifically minded. Even a lot of Christians are capable of grasping this. Just the idea that the universe rapidly expanded. This makes like perfect sense to me. Sometimes things get bigger.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make the idea that sometimes things get bigger. That doesn't make sense to you.
Like, how did the universe get bigger, bro?
It just rapidly expanded. Rapid release of energy, maybe.
And who did that?
Oh, I just think that the singularity was disposed to doing that. So we don't know what happened specifically before the Big Bang. There's many theories that don't rely on the existence of a god, though.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, so I would just accept one of these insofar as there's no evidence of a god anywhere else in the world.
Like, yes, there is, bro. Like, evidence of a god.
Yeah, you just failed to provide it. Like, I give you like day one explanations about where things came from.
Okay, then who made everything, bro? Who gave us life?
I don't think it's like a who. I think so. I would be willing to defend that the singularity is like the start of everything. But if you asking like where life came from, I'd say abiogenesis.
Life came from. So you mean life came from no life?
Oh, well, you think that too? Do you think God is alive?
Yeah, God is spirit.
Oh, but is God alive?
Yes, God is spirit. Of course, he's alive.
Okay, cool. Do you think life ends?
No, it never ends. Life is eternal.
Life never ends.
Like, we go to heaven, and there is eternal.
Okay, so what's your evidence for the existence of like souls or spirits?
then like what do you see after death?
What do we? Nobody knows. Unfortunately, nobody has survived to convey the message.
Yes, but
Okay,
many
wait.
people see
So you're like you just didn't answer my question just now, but that's fine. Can you give me
can you
like
repeat that?
let's see. I want to hone in on the word life. Could you give me a definition of life? Like what properties exist in something that indicate that it's either alive or not alive?
Like we are alive, but we're talking.
Yeah, that's an example of life. But I'm asking you, how do we know? Like, what's a property that tells us whether or not like something is alive?
Like when it's moving, breathing, having feelings.
Okay. Moving, breathing, having feelings. Does God breathe?
God can do everything.
Okay, so you think that God breathes oxygen? Okay, what about like someone who's in like a coma? Are they alive?
Coma?
Coma.
They aren't dead yet.
Yeah, so they're alive. Do people in a coma move?
No.
Okay. So despite the fact that they don't move, you said moving, feeling, breathing, the only thing people in comas do is breathe. And nevertheless, they're, I mean,
That's what you do when you sleep.
you would still hold that they're alive, despite the fact that they don't move or feel.
That's what you do when you sleep as well.
Yeah. So you would hold that people who are sleeping aren't alive under your definition.
They are.
Like good job, you just dunked on your own argument.
They breathe, so they are alive.
Oh, so is it just breathing or is it all three?
And also their organs work. They still work.
Oh, so you're saying that in order to be alive, it's actually not any of these three things that you gave, it's just having organs that work?
And you also have the spirit inside of yourself.
Okay, wait, yeah. So organs that work. Does God the Father have organs?
God is spirit. How many times?
Oh yeah, cool. So insofar as God the Father doesn't have organs that work, God the Father is not alive.
Bro, God is spirit.
That's fine, but you said that in order to be alive, you need to have organs that work. God the Father does not have organs that work. Therefore, God the Father is not alive.
That's not the only thing you gotta be alive for.
Okay, yeah, wait. So let's get like really clear on this. So what are all the things that you need to be alive?
Spirit is number one.
Okay, spirit is number one. So you need spirit. How do you know if something is spirit?
Like because it's alive.
Oh, okay. So we just have circular definitions here. So life is having spirit, and spirit is being alive. Good. That's so cool.
Because we are alive because we have the spirit.
Yeah. So you're saying that life is having a spirit, and having a spirit is being alive, which of course is having a spirit, which of course is being alive. Wow, brilliant.
Spirit is the thing that controls.
It's just one big circle. It's like a circular definition. It's uninformative. I have no idea what this means.
So you have no idea what our spirit is?
Well, yeah. I have no idea. Clueless.
Like, the spirit is that he stays with us in earth, and then when we die, the spirit goes to heaven, the body stays here.
Yeah, well, I don't believe in heaven either, so that's just gonna not be helpful for me.
So what do people do when they die?
Nobody knows.
They go to, there is an afterlife, and they go.
So would you have any evidence of an afterlife?
Do you have any evidence that heaven doesn't exist?
Well, I said that I'm agnostic to it, so I'm asking you if you have any evidence.
Like, I do. I believe that heaven exists because...
Oh, so if you believe something, does that mean it's true? Do you think that your belief in a thing makes that evidence?
Yes.
Oh, so if I believe that there's a bunch of spaghetti and meatballs in my car engine right now, is that evidence that there's a bunch of spaghetti and meatballs in my car engine?
Can you repeat that, please? Because
if I believe there's a bunch of spaghetti and meatballs in my car engine...
first, what you said first.
What that is, that's like the thing that I said.
No, like you said, if you believe heaven is real, it's not evidence.
Oh yeah.
Like,
so do you think that just because you believe something that's like evidence?
No.
Okay, so that's different from your answer earlier. So I asked you, what's your evidence that heaven exists? And you said to me, your only one point of evidence was just that you believe in it. But you just said that belief is an evidence, so you have no evidence for it. There's also, people have dreams of lots of things that aren't real.
People have dreams of God, of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's cool. People have dreams of lots of things that aren't real.
Then how do you have dreams?
What do you mean? Our dreams are just like our brains showing us images. Or, like, you can imagine things that aren't real. There's no contradiction in doing so.
Like, bro.
Do you have a better argument than like, bro?
Then ask me what argument.
Well, I don't know. I feel like this has been going in circles for a while, so I'm probably going to move on to the...
Alright.
Excuse me, yeah, but I appreciate you coming on up here.
Alright.
Yep. Hey, if you're enjoying the debate, make sure you drop a follow so you never miss a single debate in the future. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, getting us all the way up to, I don't know, call it 150K. We're almost there. Let's get to 160K even. You can leave as many likes as you want if you want to support the stream. The Venmo's allegedly -Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. I appreciate any and all support. Thank you all so much. It allows me to go live for even longer every single day. I just appreciate all of you. And with that, we'll go to the next guest. But if you're in those guest requests, make sure that you are 18 or older, you believe in the God of the Bible, the Torah, or the Quran, and are not driving. Those are the only 3 things that you need to do. If you don't have one of those things, please do not request to join. But keep on double tapping on that screen. Mods, thanks so much for muting the people who are spamming crosses. I appreciate you all so much. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Debbie?
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 41.
Okay. And what religion are you?
I'm Christian.
Okay. What's your strongest argument that isn't personal experience for the existence of a Christian God?
My life.
Okay. Well, I asked for something that isn't personal experience. Do you mean life in general or your life specifically?
My life.
Okay. So I'm not interested in personal experience.
So how can you believe something if you haven't experienced it? And why would you? Right now, you're looking for evidence from me so that you can have your own experience, so that you can believe or disbelieve based on my evidence.
No, I'm looking for logical, philosophical evidence. I'm not looking for somebody's testimony, which I cannot verify.
Unfortunately, that is what belief and religion and faith is based on.
Okay.
It's based on testimony. And that's why the God of the Bible does not appear to you unless he wants you to have a testimony of his existence. The only way that you can tell me that he's real is because you have experienced him for yourself, not read him in a book, not dug him up in a science somewhere or theology somewhere. The only evidence that you can bring to me is your own life experience with the God of the Bible. You cannot tell me anybody's philosophical studies or scientific evidences of somebody else who did 20 years of research. That's not enough for me to believe you. You haven't done the studies yourself. You haven't lived the life or experienced this God for yourself. So you cannot make me believe that he does not exist or that he does exist. There's no philosophy that can show through science to make anybody believe in something that they cannot see unless they experience it for themselves. Okay? Nobody can tell you that you will drown unless you sink in that water and see that you cannot swim. You will experience that. You know what? The fact that you will drown if you jump in water and you can't swim is enough for me to understand that this is true. The fact that gravity exists, somebody can tell you that. But unless you throw something in the air and experience gravity for yourself, you have no reason to believe that their fact is in fact true. Somebody can preach about the God in the Bible and bring you evidence, but unless you experience him for yourself, you cannot prove that their evidence is real or true. And that's just what it is.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So there's 3 problems with personal experience. The first is that it always comes back to an individual's interpretation. If the things that happen to you happen to me, I would probably still be an atheist. Whereas if you're a Christian already and the things that happen to you, they're just going to reaffirm your belief in Christianity. For example, if I experienced sleep paralysis and I saw all these demons, I'd be like, oh shit, I experienced sleep paralysis. If you experienced sleep paralysis and saw all these demons, you'd be like, oh shit, demons. So the second problem is that we have a naturalistic explanation for every spiritual experience or thing that is conveyed by a testimonial. Specifically, that all of these things are going to be present in a result of the right temporal lobe, which leads to very unintuitive conclusions that God is specifically targeting people with epilepsy and schizophrenia to give spiritual experiences to, because these are the people who are overwhelmingly, disproportionately the receivers of spiritual experiences, because there's a problem with the right temporal lobe. It seems like a naturalistic explanation seems to much better fit this data. And finally, spiritual experiences exist in literally every religion, which means that I have absolutely no reason to believe that your spiritual experience is evidence of your God, any more than I have reason to believe that somebody's like a Hindu's spiritual experiences are evidence for their gods, or like a Jewish person's spiritual experiences are evidence for like the Jewish God, or like a Muslim spiritual experience are evidence for the Islamic God. Those are the three reasons why I will not accept people's personal testimonies.
Okay, well, guess what? You have a good point. Because everybody's spiritual experience is their own. That doesn't disprove that there is no God. Your thing is that God is not real.
Yep.
My thing is God is real. In fact, there are other gods. If you can believe it.
There are
Christian
other gods?
Bible, yes, the Christian Bible itself tells you.
What's the first commandment?
Hold on. The Christian Bible tells you that there are other gods and that people worship other gods. In fact, our God commanded us not to worship other gods, which tells you that there are other gods. So if somebody wakes up today and say, "Oh, I worship the God of the the Muslims, or I worship the God of the Hindus." Hindus, in fact, have many gods.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be shocking to a Christian, because our Bible tells us that they were the God of the Moabites. They were the God of the Egyptians. The Egyptians had many gods.
Where did
So
these
the
gods
fact
come
that there
from?
are other gods,
Who created these
the fact that
gods?
there are other gods does not shock the Christian.
Who created these gods? These other gods?
Okay? Your argument is that God is not real.
Wait, that was a question. Who created these other gods?
Who created these other gods?
Yeah.
Whatever you worship is your God.
That's not the answer. That's not an answer to the question.
But that's the answer that I'm giving you, because that's
So just because you say words after I ask you a question does not mean that you've answered my question.
I answered your question, because you know what? Okay, if I tell you that as a human being, I'm going to worship this tree becomes my God.
That's nice. So who created these other gods?
You would
and do you think that do you think that these other gods are real?
My Bible said that there are many gods.
Okay.
So they are real.
So they are real. Who created them? Where did they come from?
Everything is spirit. It comes from the spiritual realm.
They came from the spiritual realm. So who created the spiritual realm?
Everything is created by the Almighty God.
Oh, cool. So God created all these other gods? Why the fuck would he do that?
No, he didn't create them.
But you said that the Almighty God created the spiritual realm, and that all of them come from the spiritual realm. Why would God make other gods just to deceive people? Because this guarantees that they go through heaven, and because there's a verse in the Bible that says that the only way to get into heaven is through Jesus. If you're not going through Jesus because you're Hindu, or you're Muslim, or you're Jewish, or you're any other religion, then you get to go to hell. So why would God create pathways for people to go to hell by creating gods which are in fact real, making the belief in these other gods not unjustified?
So, God created the heavens and the earth. In the heavens that were angels. This is from the beginning. If you want me to take it back, I will.
So you're saying that these other gods are demons?
Listen to what I'm saying. Yes, this is exactly what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Now,
You said that these other gods, is belief in these other gods bad?
Yes, sir.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. So to answer your question, God created spiritual beings that were supposed to be in subjection to his law and obedience to his rule. But they decided to rebel against him because pride was found in them. They didn't want to acknowledge the fact that they were created. They didn't want to acknowledge the fact that they're subject to God. They want to be God. So they rebelled against his truth and his dominion and became sinful, evil, and captivated mankind, the hearts of mankind. Mankind now worship them as gods. Okay, that's where they came from. They're not good for us. They
Why
hate
would
us.
God allow, if God wants everybody to choose him, why would God ever allow for these demons to go out into the world and deceive people into believing false religions?
God did not allow it. In fact, God
He
told
didn't
us not.
allow it?
No,
So
he
if he
did not
didn't
allow
allow
it.
it, did he prevent it?
He instructed us on what to do to prevent it. We did not listen to him. He
No, but
told.
he allowed
Listen.
these demons to go out and tempt people into religions like Hinduism or
He did
Islam.
not. He did not allow anything. He
Oh, so
banned.
then if he didn't allow it, then did it happen?
We disobeyed him.
If he didn't allow it, did it happen? Did these demons go and tempt people into believing?
He could have, listen, the demons went and tempted people to believe in them. Yes, they
Yes,
did.
so why would God allow them to do that?
God did not allow anything.
Yes, he did.
God
He didn't
not
stop
allow-
it. He
Why
did
would he?
not
He
stop
told us
it.
how. He gave us dominion over the earth. He said, "You are in control, and here is how you're going to maintain your control."
Did
Do
God
not
stop people from
listen to
believing in
them.
Hinduism? Did God stop people from believing
You're
in
not.
Hinduism?
You're not allowing me to answer your question. God gave the mankind.
It's a yes or no question.
Ask
Wait.
me one
You think
question. You asked me a question.
you
You
think
said,
did
"Did God
God
allow it?" I said,
allow
"God
them?
did not
Did God
allow it."
Yes, he did, or no, he didn't. That's a yes or no question. This is like the second tracking
It's
failure.
not a yes. It's not a yes.
It's
or no question,
we can
sir.
make it like the third tracking failure if you
No,
want. Yes,
it's
it is.
not a yes or
When
no
you ask
question.
someone,
Because
did
when
this
you're
thing
saying that I
occur?
allow you
When
to
you
do it-
ask someone, did this thing occur? The answers are either yes, it did occur, no, it did not occur. Those are the only two answers. It's a yes or no question.
we had the authority to choose what we wanted to do. It's not whether or not he makes us or allows us. He allows us to make our choice. He allows us to make our choice. He gave us free will, just like he gave the angels in heaven free will. They chose to rebel, and he gave us the same free will. You can choose to rebel, and that is exactly what we did.
Can you tell me what question I asked you?
You asked me whether or not God allowed us to worship the Hindu god.
No, that's actually not. You're answering a question that you don't even know. That's incredible. The question was not did he allow it, it's did he stop people from worshiping Hinduism?
The answer is no.
Gotcha. So you could have just said no this entire time and saved everybody here like 5 full minutes.
Did he stop you? No.
So why would
gave you
God
a
not
choice to.
stop people from believing in Hinduism?
He's not a slave
Insofar as
master.
it's not a fair choice if we're being tempted and coerced by these other religions.
Okay, you're being tempted and coerced, but you're also, on one hand, they're tempting you and deceiving you. On the other hand, someone is loving you. God is loving you, nourishing you, and welcoming you to be his own son. And instead of choosing that path, you choose to be deceived.
No, because in their religion, they think that they're choosing the true path. They don't think that they're being deceived, and they don't think that they're being like tempted. They think that you're being tempted and that you're being deceived. There's no way to tell the difference between any religion in this sense. That there's like they would say the exact same account that you're giving to me is the exact same account that like a Hindu person would give to me, or that like an Islamic person would give to me. That Christians are just tempted and coerced.
And that's why I said to you, the God of the Christian Bible is not going to put a yoke around your neck and tell you to serve him. When you experience that everything else is false, you will be seeking the truth. Okay? And the only way to seek the truth and to know the truth is somebody who knows the truth will tell you, listen, man, this is what I went through in my life. This is what I experienced, and this is what I can testify to. For example, right?
Wait, do not give me your personal experience. I've set this boundary very clearly. I do not
But
care.
I just told you this, right? Okay, for example, if you're a judge right now, the Supreme Court in America, right? And you have to judge a case. What will be your evidence? Your evidence will be the testimony of people who have witnessed this.
Not necessarily. There would be other evidence as well. So I think witness testimony, relevant witness testimony that can't be accounted in a different story is fine. But the problem is, There's also other evidence. There would be evidence involving like logical deduction that if we know the person was at this place at this time based on like security footage, then we know that they could not be at the place of the crime at the time of the crime. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, okay, so that's still an eyewitness. The
Well,
video
no, it's
is still an
not. It's like a video camera,
Somebody
or we
has
could
to
get
testify,
like
whether
like
digitally
blood splatter or like
person.
fingerprints or any of these other things could be evidence. It's not just strictly going to be eyewitness testimony. Additionally,
No,
your
but
eyewitness testimony.
you wanna make
Your
it seem like
eyewitness testimony.
witness and
Your
testimony is not
eyewitness
valid.
testimony also fits under the atheist worldview because all of these spiritual experiences are a result of stimulation of the right temporal lobe.
Listen, that is your scientific evidence that you have read in a book. My evidence is that God lives in me. So I don't need any other philosophical or scientific proof. My
know.
evidence is that I can testify that I am a witness.
Yeah.
And why am I a witness to something?
So wait,
that
do you reject? So you reject science?
I don't reject science. God made science.
No, but science is the way that we come to true conclusions, and you have not arrived at a true conclusion. And you're also saying that you're not interested in scientific evidence. Faith is a terrible way to arrive at true conclusions.
I am not saying that I am not interested in scientific evidence. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying my faith is not based on scientific evidence.
Okay, that's fine.
My faith is based on that I am a witness. I wasn't born a Christian.
Wait, don't give the personal experience. I do not
care. That is the only way that
I do not care. I just don't care. It's like it's like the least relevant thing in the world to me. I've already explained this to you.
Have you seen the eclipse? Why would I believe the eclipse is real? Because I read it in a book?
Because I saw it with my own eyes and because it's in accordance with the astronomic data.
Right. So guess what?
It comes back to empiricism, and there's no other explanation for it.
You believe in Jesus Christ?
I think Jesus existed, but let's stick on one argument at a time. We're jumping all over the damn place. We're jumping from personal experience to eclipses to Jesus Christ. Let's just stick with one argument. The evidence that Jesus Christ. So I believe in Jesus. I believe Jesus Christ existed because there's a wide range of historical evidence saying that Jesus Christ existed. Same thing with Socrates.
Where is the evidence?
Hold on.
Where is the evidence that Jesus existed?
Same thing with Socrates. I believe that Socrates existed because there's a wide range of writings that account for a person named Socrates who lived right around a specific time in Athens, multiple different authors, not just one source. I think that Jesus existed because he's wrote about by a good number of people, and there's documents that says that he was executed that are in the Romans' possession. So I believe Jesus existed because there's a wide range of sources. I don't think Jesus resurrected because there's only one source that says that he did.
What is the source that said he existed and that he was murdered outside of the Bible itself? I think
that people have said that it's like the Roman, the document of like the Romans saying that he was like executed. But I mean, if that's not true, then I would actually say that I actually don't know if Jesus existed. If that's not the case,
you don't know if he existed. You don't
no
know
idea. I mean, if that document isn't real, then I have no idea.
Okay, but you chose to believe that though.
Yeah, because people have told me, like people that I trust have told me that document exists.
Okay, so you trust other people because they told you.
Yeah, all the time, right? Like this is
a Christian that tells you.
Wait, like people tell you that your car is gonna work and not like blow up, and you trust them and you drive your car. Yeah, like we trust all the people. We trust other people all the time. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's based on people that you trust, right? So if you run into somebody that you trust and they say to you, man, I was in a hospital and I met Jesus Christ and he touched my body and healed me. And now the doctors are astonished because my cancer disappeared after I told them Jesus Christ healed me. Would you believe that person?
Yeah. So if I'll give you a super fair challenge. If you could provide me a peer-reviewed study that said that somebody was miraculously healed in a way that is completely unexplainable, I'd consider that pretty strong evidence for the existence of a God.
Okay, well, I don't have to show it to you in print. You're speaking to somebody.
It needs to wait. It needs to be a peer-reviewed study. Otherwise, I don't know if it's true.
Okay, but that's the same thing. You would trust your friend who told you, but you wouldn't.
Yeah, I trust reliable people. You've told me like a lot of nonsense, and you have a vested interest.
I know a lot of people that rely on
and they
me.
have a vested interest in not telling you the full story to make it sound even cooler.
No, my love. Listen, this is how Christianity has grown so powerfully because somebody that I know.
I do not care about your personal. Boundaries, Debbie. Boundaries, Debbie. It's a boundary, Debbie. Debbie, it's a boundary. Boundaries.
You're yelling.
It's a boundary. Stop trying to cross my boundaries. I do not care about your personal experience. I do not want to hear it. Yes. So then stop trying to railroad to your personal experience.
But it's reality, though. That's how word
but
of mouth is.
you're trying to railroad to your personal experience, and I've set the boundary that I do not want to hear it. Boundaries, Debbie.
Okay, I'm with you, but I'm asking you to think about this. Imagine people living in the days when there were no literature, there were no way to communicate through writing, people who couldn't understand how to read or write, and you're asking them to present to you now literature that proves that they believe what they believe. Sometimes there is no literature. They can just tell you from the basic language that they speak, hey, this is how things have been from the beginning of time until man developed writing and books and ways and means of developing facts. You understand? And collecting these things as evidences. But before that, it was just word of mouth. Oh, really? If I go down to this temple and drink this water, I could be healed? Okay, let me try it. That's how it's been since time began. Why do you want to change that now?
Yes, because science is an incredible methodology that has advanced us quite a distance. Science is really good. It's the way that we're communicating over smartphones. It's why we don't die gratuitously to a wide range of like medieval diseases. I trust scientific evidence. I don't trust word of mouth. If we trust word of mouth, then that leaves us believing things like Zeus or Hera or Hermes. These are unreliable conclusions, and they're not ones that I'm going to accept because word of mouth is extraordinarily unreliable, whereas science is really good. And the fact of the matter is that science disproves and highly strongly discredits the Bible.
That is not true. Archaeology is digging up every day about the truth of the Bible. Archaeologists can prove the kings that is spoken about in the Bible, the time period of the Pharaoh that is even mentioned during the Exodus, the time period of the great parting of the Red Sea, the earthquake, the time period of Jesus Christ born and death. Everything is recorded in history. Backs up, and the Bible backs these things.
That's so interesting. Could you give me the evidence that there was a mass exodus? Because I can say that like that pharaoh did exist in Egypt, just that the entire story around it, that it was a real story, or that not a real story, but that it used real characters, but the story itself is made up. That there's no evidence of a mass Jewish exodus from around that time period. So what's your you said you had archaeological evidence. Could you point me in the direction of your archaeological evidence?
The scripture has been proven.
But the scripture is not archaeological evidence. That's your conclusion. That's your conclusion.
Listen to what I'm saying to you.
Yeah, you're saying that the scripture's been proven. I'm asking you to prove it. Yes.
It's compiled of records and scrolls that can date back to the time of the Egyptian king who was in power at the time of the Exodus. Archaeological records. It's your duty to look that up. I already believe that.
I already looked it up. And I verified that it's not true. There's no evidence of a mass exodus.
That's not okay. So show me your evidence.
Yeah, because when I Google archaeological evidence of a mass exodus from around this time period, do you know what comes up? Nothing.
Really?
Yes.
That's not. You're not looking deep enough.
Oh, sure. So then just help me. I mean, that's your job to prove your point. So let's hear it.
I told you, I'm not relying my faith on that. My faith.
Oh, gotcha. So then you have no evidence for your claim. So wait. So I have evidence that this.
I don't need scientific evidence.
I have evidence that this didn't happen. You have no evidence that this did happen.
That's your job. Google it.
I did Google it. I've Googled it already. So you looking for the source, or you just thinking of what to say?
I'm telling you that it's your job. I'm not gonna Google that. That's not.
I've told you I've already Googled it.
If you don't want to accept it, I'm telling you that it's your.
I've told you I've already Googled it. You told me to verify this by Googling it. I Googled it, didn't verify it.
That's not going to be enough evidence for you. You're always going to find the only evidence that can prove it is your mother. If your mother,
you provided zero evidence. You can't make the claim that nothing's going to be. You can't make the claim that nothing's going to be enough evidence for me if you literally haven't provided evidence.
No, because the God of the heaven does
you
not
haven't provided evidence. Provide the archaeological evidence.
Okay?
Debbie, you made the claim that there is archaeological evidence for the mass exodus. Show me the archaeological evidence. If you're off the app, I can't hear you, by the way. Like, if you're talking right now, nobody can hear you.
I'm saying to you, you're dependent on me to go right now in Google and dig up archaeological evidence. I have read these things over and over again, and they just confirm what I already believe.
Oh,
so
then you should, if you've read them so often, you should have no problem providing it. If you've read it so often, no problem providing it.
That's not what my evidence is based on. So why should I?
So wait, you can't say evidence. You don't have any evidence.
The evidence is that he's living in me.
Wait, and I've told you I don't care about your personal experiences.
Okay, but I do. So I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. So, I mean, the goal is to give me an argument that I will accept, as the goal is for me to give you an argument that you will accept. So if you're done arguing for reasons why I should accept it, I'll give you reasons why you shouldn't accept it. So.
No, I don't need those.
Oh, but I'm gonna wait.
So
but
you cannot.
Buddy, it's a debate. Danny, thanks so much for the $6.66 on Venmo. Huge W, Danny, and huge W 666 in the comments section. So do you think that Jesus is God?
Yes.
Okay. And do you think that God knows everything?
Yes.
So if you know everything, can you ever learn anything?
No.
Okay, cool. So then how in Luke 2:52 does it say that Jesus grew in wisdom and stature if you can't learn anything new if you're God?
Okay. That's a valid point that you made. You see, Jesus Christ, even though he is God in the spirit, he had to come down into humanity, right? So he was born into the flesh. Now, the flesh itself is limited. The flesh itself does not have the wisdom of knowing everything. As you know yourself, when you're born as a baby, somebody had to teach you the very words that you're saying. When God himself took on that flesh, he had to go through the same process as a normal human. He had to learn everything from scratch.
Gotcha. So then God doesn't know everything. Big B, thanks so much for the superpowers. I appreciate that.
No. It's not that God doesn't know everything. It's just that God came in flesh and had to experience the transformation of becoming a man through birth, natural process. He entered the womb for 9 months, just like a human being would. So of course he had to go through it naturally, the way any natural being would. That's the only way that could justify.
So when God came into flesh, did he know everything?
You see, you have to understand, God has the ability to be 3 in 1.
That's a yes or no question.
Yes, he still knows everything.
Oh, gotcha. So God came into the flesh. So God came into the flesh and knew everything, but still had things to learn?
You have to understand this one thing I'm telling you. God is 3 personalities.
I already know the Trinity. It's not relevant.
Okay, so if you're asking me a question, allow me to answer you.
That's fine.
Jesus Christ himself made reference to this, that the Father is in heaven. He actually prayed to the Father, and that the Father also is the Holy Spirit that came upon him while he was in the womb, while he was being baptized. Okay, so he already made reference to the Trinity. There's a Father, there's a Son, and there's a Holy Spirit. While the Father was in the flesh, while the God was in the flesh, he had to go through the whole process, and he may not have known everything, but yes, he did grow in wisdom. From a child coming up to the age of 33, he grew in the natural wisdom that every human being will have to grow into. Yes.
Gotcha. So you said God doesn't know everything. There was a point in time where God didn't know everything.
God the flesh, God the Son. Yes,
Yeah, so God the Son did not know everything. There was a
that's
point in
right.
time where God the Son did not know everything.
That's right.
Does if somebody is God, do they always know everything?
God is three people, as I said.
Yeah, but if
Okay.
if somebody is God, do they necessarily know everything?
Yes.
Gotcha. So Jesus necessarily knew everything and also didn't know everything.
No, Jesus Christ is God manifested in the flesh. When Jesus was in heaven with the Father, he knew everything. But when he came into the flesh, he does not know everything. He lost all that wisdom and he had to learn all over again.
Okay, so do you think that God changes?
No,
Okay, so you don't think God changes, but you think that he came into the flesh and had to learn everything all over again?
that wasn't a change. That was a
You wait,
decision.
so you
That
don't
wasn't
think
a
that
change.
okay, is your knowledge the same if you learn something?
Is your knowledge the same if you learn something? No, well, no, I wouldn't
Okay.
say it is the same.
So your knowledge becomes different.
Yes,
Okay. So your knowledge changes.
yes, if you learn something new, that's
Melody,
new
thanks so
knowledge.
much for the $7.77 on Cash App. W Melody, although, or I don't know, we'll see. Typically Christians cancel their Cash Apps, but I appreciate it.
That's not true.
No, they do. They send me $7.77 and then they cancel it. Happens
They
frequently.
or one?
It's happened like 2 or 3 times now.
Okay, so that's not the
Well,
majority.
yeah, because normally Christians don't
No,
like
no,
send me
you're
money.
prejudiced.
No, I mean of all the Christians, I'd say probably like more than half have canceled.
I'm listening to you. Finish your point.
Yeah, so God doesn't change, but God went from knowing everything to not knowing everything.
That's not what I said.
So you think that God changed from knowing everything? Jesus changed from knowing everything with God to not knowing everything in flesh.
Yes.
So you think God changed? You think
No.
Jesus changed?
No. I think he chose to strip himself of the knowledge to enter into the flesh so that
And
he can
is that a
go through
change?
go through
Is stripping yourself of knowledge and entering into flesh a change? Justin, thanks so much for the $6.66. Huge W, Justin, and huge W666. If anybody else wants to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly -Ian. The Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Both are in my bio. I appreciate the support. It allows me to go live for longer every single day. Thank you all so much. So you think that Jesus stripped himself of knowledge and came into the flesh, and you don't think that that's a change?
It's not that he stripped himself of knowledge. He decided that, you know what, I want to go through life's process the way a human being would. So let me go. And of course, as you know, babies are not born with all the knowledge that they need to survive in the earth. They grow up and they acquire knowledge year by year. Okay. So in the spirit, he was God. But when he came into the flesh, he had to go through all the natural processes of a human being.
So he changed from being not a human to being a human.
He changed from being what do you mean? From the spirit, he transformed into flesh, which made him human. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So God changed. Nicole, thanks so much for the $6.66 on Venmo. Huge W, Nicole, and huge W666. Thank you so much, Nicole. I really appreciate that.
I don't understand what you mean God changed. He just okay.
So God changed. You literally said that God transforms. Transformation is a change.
You're asking me a silly question. Right now, you're naked, right? If you put on some clothing, if you put on this sweater that you have, right? It just covers your nakedness, but it doesn't mean that underneath you're not still the very same person. God put on flesh. But inside of him is the same spirit, is the same God. But the flesh limited knowledge of the earth. You understand? He had to grow into that knowledge now. Just like if you take off this sweater, you're going to be what you are underneath. When he took off the flesh, he just went right back to being the God that he is. It's seated in heaven.
Does God change in any way?
I just told you no.
Oh, so God doesn't change in any way, because I would say that if I change out of my clothing, then I am changing. So this would be in a way in which I change. If you want to say that, like physically God doesn't change, or physically God changes, but spiritually God does not change, that's fine. But you're saying that God doesn't change, and you're saying that there are 0 ways in which God changes. Going from being not a human to being a human, that's a change, buddy.
No, you're not understand. See, there was a time he came as a burning bush. He appeared as fire.
Yeah, this is just you dunking your argument even more. Yeah, so he changed from not being a burning bush into being a burning bush. Yeah, like good job. You just disproved your argument.
When you manifest in the earth from the spiritual realm, you need to be seen. He manifests himself in the earth many times, in many ways. Many times he came as a cloud. Many times he came as fire. And this time he came as flesh.
So is a transformation a change?
Your point is not relevant.
That's a yes or no question. Is a transformation? You feel cornered, and that's why you refuse to answer.
No, it's not a
transformation. Is a transformation a change?
Let me tell you. Today I'm wearing a straight.
That's a yes or no question, my dude. Is a transformation
listen, it is
a
not.
change?
It is not. The question is no. I am who I am. If I may wear a straight hair,
transformation is not a change.
No.
If wait, so you're saying that if I transformed from a sinner to a Christian, that would not be a change?
Isn't it clear? Today,
wait, if I transformed from a sinner to a Christian, would that be a change?
Listen to what I'm saying to you. My outer appearance does not mean that I change who I am. If I put on a blonde wig today, it doesn't make me white. It just means I changed my appearance. I have on something else. If God decides to come in the flesh today, that's what he does. If he decides to come as a donkey, that's what he does. But he is still God. That doesn't change who he is.
Yeah, so if I got my brain implanted into a robot, was that a change?
For you, yes.
Oh, perfect. So it sounds like changing the vessel you reside in actually is a change.
No. For you.
Oh, so wait. So why would it be a change for me to get put into the body of a robot?
Wait, say that again?
Why would it be a change for me to get implanted into the body of a robot?
If you still maintain your spirit and they just take your flesh and clothe you in metal, then you're still who you are. Once you take the metal off, you're still you.
Wait, I think you forgot what answer you gave. You said that yes, that would be a change.
No, you said something totally different.
That's the exact same thing I said. If I got my brain implanted into a robot, would that be a change?
No, I'm sorry. That is just your outer flesh that changes. You, who you are, the core of you, your brain, your spirit, what makes you, what's your name? If I call you
Ian.
right now, if I call you Ian and you're in a robot, you would respond to me because you know who you are. Right now,
That's fine.
if somebody bows down to, listen, if somebody bows down to
it's a yes or no
Jesus Christ
question,
of
my
Nazareth-
dude. It's a yes or no question.
Okay, you got the answer, didn't you?
No, you didn't. You didn't give a yes or a no.
If you're in a robot's body and I say Ian and you respond to me, that is you.
Wait, so you're
did
saying
not
I want to be
You're
clear.
wearing a suit.
I want to be clear. You're saying that it would not be a change to put me into a robot's body.
Right. You're just clothed.
You think that's crazy? That's obviously a change.
It's not crazy.
That's
dude.
like the craziest thing I've ever. You think that there would be no change in me taking somebody's brain and putting them in a robot's body? You think there's no change involved in that?
If that person is still conscious and know who they
That's
are,
crazy.
No, it's not crazy.
Would you say that? Would you say that I changed? Wait, would you say that I changed in any way?
Your outward appearance changed, but
you would say that there's a way in which I changed.
Your physical appearance changed. If I looked at you, you may look different, but inside of you, you are still Ian. And if I called you Ian and you responded, it means that you are the same person.
That's not the question. Can you? I don't even think you know what the question is. What question did I just ask you?
You're asking me if you get placed into a robot's body, if you have changed.
No, you're again not tracking. That's not the question I just asked you. I asked you, what if I got placed into a robot's body? Did I change in any way at all? And also, Euron, thanks so much for the $6.66 on Cash App. Euron and W666 in the comment section. I appreciate that.
Listen, you have changed your physical appearance.
Gotcha.
That
So
is
you
the only thing
changed.
that have changed. Yes, your
So
physical appearance.
when Jesus came into flesh, would you say that he changed his physical appearance?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. So if Jesus changed his physical appearance, then there is a way in which God changes.
When he enters the earth, he changes his physical appearance.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So earlier you said that God doesn't change in any way, but there is ways that God changes.
It's not that he changed. You have to understand. In order for you to enter the earth, you need a body. You need to
literally
manifest
use the
in
word
some way.
change. You use the word change directly and literally.
He's not understanding what I'm saying.
You said that God changes into physical forms. You use the word change yourself.
His physical appearance changed. And there's a reason why. Not that he is not the same person inside. It's just that he's clothed with something that you can see on the physical realm.
Gotcha. So you're saying that physically God does change.
I don't understand how much clearer I can put this.
Yes. So that's a change. So God changes.
Physically, he put
Yes,
something
correct.
on
So
him
God,
for you
wait.
to see
That's
him.
physically doesn't matter. God changes.
Okay.
So does God change in any way?
Physically. For
Okay,
you to be able to
perfect.
see him.
So when in the Bible when it says that God does not change in Malachi, do you reject that verse? Also, Melody, thanks so much for the $7.77 on Cash App. W Melody in the comment section.
God does not change who he is.
Yeah.
And that's what Malachi
So-
is saying.
No,
He's the
that's
same God
not.
today.
You're adding
no,
this.
No, if you have to read it in context. He's the same God today as he was in the beginning. He's the same person. Meaning, when he came in the flesh, people bowed down to him and say, "Hi, you are the Son of God. You are God." You know why? Because they saw him. They didn't just see the body and the suit that he was wearing. They saw the true God in him. That is what the Bible said. So therefore, you can be the same person, Ian, even if you're in a robot suit. When I see you, it's you. Malachi is saying that God from the old days does not change who he is. He may appear as fire. He may appear as an angel. He may
All of these
appear
are
as,
changes, by the way.
no, they're just appearances. They're just
Yeah. Wait. So it says specifically, I the Lord do not change. Let's do an analogy. So if I told you I don't go outside at after 6 p.m. and you catch me at a Denny's at 7 p.m., would it be true that I don't go outside at 6 p.m.?
No, it wouldn't be true.
Yeah, and if in Malachi it says, I the Lord do not change, and then he changes physically, is it true that he does not change?
You did not know what God's ability.
That's a yes or no question.
The answer is it's not a yes or no question.
It
And
is.
here's why. No,
It's
here's why.
is this true? So the answer is either yes it is, no it is not. It's a
No.
yes or no question.
No, it's not a yes or no question. I tell you why.
It literally
Listen,
is. You
hold
can
on,
just be
hold
wrong
on.
about this.
Wait a minute. No.
Wait. I just
You
because
know why?
before
Wait, let me give you an
before
example that
before
you can
you
understand.
before you yap, you need to understand what a yes or no question is. That seems like integral. I need you to understand that this is a yes or no question. So yes or no questions are going to have two answers, either yes or no. This is going to be questions that are like, is this thing this? Did this thing happen? Questions of that nature are always going to have answers. Yes, it is. Yes, it did. No, it did not. No, it is not. When I ask you, would it if I say I the Lord do not change and then I change, is it true that I the Lord do not change? The answers are either yes it is true, or no it is not true. Those are the only two answers.
The God did not change, so it's no.
But he did, because he changes
He didn't.
physically.
He put on a suit.
Yes, he changes
He
physically.
is a spirit.
Because he
He is a
changes
spirit.
physically.
No,
Wait. So
he
not
is
only
a
does he change
spirit.
physically, do you think knowledge exists in our spirit?
You're asking me the question. I'm answering you.
Do you think knowledge
God is a
exists in our spirit?
He is not a physical person. So
you
if you're
think-
telling me that he changed physically and he said he will not change, I'm telling you that the answer is no. He's a spirit. He's not a physical. He just put on a suit in order to relate with humanity, but that's not what he is.
So will we have the same knowledge in heaven that we do now? Like, will we, when you rather get transported up to heaven, if you do, will you have all of your memories and also remember all the things that you knew right before you were unalived?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, either, I guess there's just going to be a double bind here. Either the answer is that you'll not have any of your, or like you'll lack your knowledge that you knew beforehand, in which case it seems like this entire thing is like pretty fucked, that it seems like we're punished. Like, these are, to me, not the same people. Like, you're not the same person if you had severe amnesia and just forgot everything. Like, I wouldn't meaningfully consider you to be the same person bound by identity. Or you think that you do maintain the knowledge and maintain your memories, in which case it seems like knowledge is stored in the spirit.
I don't know. That's my honest answer.
Okay, do you think knowledge is stored in the spirit?
Yes.
Okay, so knowledge is stored in the spirit. So if there's a change in knowledge, that's a change to the spirit. Do you agree?
I think when you're in the spirit, you have all knowledge.
Wait, but I'm asking you, so you think knowledge is stored in one's spirit? So if there's a change in knowledge, there's a change in the spirit, correct?
No.
No, so knowledge is not stored in the spirit then?
I think all knowledge, meaning all knowledge, all wisdom is stored in the spirit. So so if I'm in the spirit,
what an egregious tracking failure.
No, if I'm in the spirit, then I know all things. When I'm in the flesh, I'm limited. You understand?
No, not at all. So I'm asking you, is knowledge, because to me, I'd say that knowledge is stored in the brain, but you would say that knowledge is stored in the spirit.
Yes. I believe knowledge is stored in the spirit. And I
Gotcha.
I don't know the answer to all of this, and I'm being honest with you. My belief is that the knowledge is stored in your spirit. And when you leave this earth, the knowledge returns. You have knowledge of all things. I just don't know if you have memory of everything that happened on earth. I don't know that. But
Gotcha.
I do believe that all wisdom and knowledge is stored in the spirit.
So if all wisdom and knowledge is stored in the spirit, would you agree that a change in knowledge also means that your spirit has changed in some way?
A change in knowledge. Well, maybe.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So that means that Jesus changed when he had things to learn. When he came into flesh and didn't know things, there was a change in knowledge. He went from knowing everything to not knowing everything, which means that his spirit changed. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I accept your surrender. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, dropping a follow if you're enjoying the debate so far, sharing it with your friends, dropping a comment, doing all that good stuff. I hope everyone's having a good old day, having a grand old little time. If you're enjoying the debates, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. And if you want to support the stream, the Venmo's allegedly Ian, the Cash App is just allegedly Ian. Thank you all so much for your gifts. I appreciate the roses. I appreciate the hearts. It's very kind of you. And with that, we'll go to the very next guest. Only request to join if you're 18 or older, not driving, and believe in the God of the Bible, the God of the Torah, or the God of the Quran. Hey, what's up? How's it going, Thora?
Okay, so...
You are not 18 or older. You gotta be 18 or older in order to request to join. If you're not 18 or older, don't request to join.
Hi.
Hey, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay. Weird choice of profile picture, not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I wanted to ask you, why do you think God isn't real? And I'm not asking you about change or anything, but
Yeah, so which God are we talking about specifically? What's your religion?
I'm talking about Jesus.
Yeah, so I think the problem of divine hiddenness is very compelling. God wants us to choose him, right?
I don't really think God wants us to choose him. I think God wants us to choose acceptance and accepting each other.
Oh, so did God choose acceptance when he ordered the Israelites to unalive the Amalekites, including like their babies? This is like 1 Samuel, I think 2:15. Let me check to make sure.
I honestly don't really read like the Bible. I don't follow like exactly up to the rules. For example, I also believe God accepts gays, for example, or lesbians. I think it's just really something to me that's, you know, like in the mind. It's something spiritual for their, yeah, basically for people, you know?
Well, yeah, but you said that God wants acceptance, but in the Bible, God does ethnic cleansing. So it seems unintuitive to me to say that God wants acceptance.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Okay. So it's unintuitive. I mean, why would I believe in it if it's unintuitive?
well, I don't know. It's not like I'm forbidding you to not believe in him.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess like question answered. You asked me why I don't believe in it. It's because I don't think ethnic cleansing is compatible with an all-loving, just God.
Okay. I mean, honestly, you know, I'm not really like someone that forces someone to believe in it. I just wanted to know like why.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you asked a question, I answered it. Do you have anything else?
Not really.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, I appreciate you coming on up here.
Thank you.
Hey, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends as we go to the very next guest.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
I am 32.
And what religion are you?
I'm Christian based.
Okay.
I
So
believe in the Lord.
what's the strongest argument that does not involve personal experience for the existence of the Christian God?
Strongest argument that doesn't.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to hear about like a
Yeah.
story sometime, but I would love to hear if you have like an argument or like evidence that God is real.
So, I mean, evidence that God's real. I don't know. I've been through too much stuff for you to like you said, there's not a personal experience. I mean, that's how we know that God's real is through personal experience and through interaction with him. So that's the only way that I know that God's real.
Okay. I mean, I'm just looking for like philosophical arguments.
Oh, like you're talking about factual?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we're alive, but I mean, how about you unalive yourself and then let us know?
Wow, that's a
then-
good argument.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you just do it? Just not saying that like that's like like I'm not saying that in a cold-hearted way, but I've seen so much death in my life I watched dead, or how can I say this without getting you in trouble? I've seen so much death in my life.
Wait, I'm not. This is like the no personal experience part. Like, I don't want to hear this.
Okay, all right, yeah, you don't want to hear that. Okay, then, so the factual thing, I don't know.
Okay,
give me
wait. I
something.
guess that's fine. I can direct the argument.
Yeah, go ahead. Do that.
Do you think God could make a rock that's so heavy he can't lift it?
A rock that's so heavy that he can't lift it. I think that he has all will and all power.
Okay, so is that going to be a yes or a no?
What rock are you talking about?
Just a rock. Could God make a rock that's so heavy he can't lift it?
No.
Okay, so then God is not all powerful because he doesn't have the power to make a rock that's so heavy he can't lift it.
Well, that's a good argument. Okay, but why would God create something that he wouldn't move?
It's a hypothetical. We're talking about possibility. That so
Possibility.
it's Santiago.
something
Thanks so much for the
factual.
galaxy. Huge W, Santiago. I appreciate
Give
the
me
hell out of
something
that.
factual though, like something based off the Bible.
Well, yeah, no,
that's
it's
not something that he did. That's not something that he did.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's talking about like a hypothetical. Like hypothetically, God is not all powerful. That it's possible God lacks some powers, which means that God is not all powerful.
I mean, how could you say if God lacks powers if you don't believe in him?
Yeah, because it's an internal critique. So we're presupposing that your worldview is true, and then we're finding contradictions within your worldview.
Oh, so you're finding contradictions. So you're trying to say that I'm right, you're right, and I'm wrong.
Yes, correct.
Well, that's, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, to each is their own. But like I said, I don't think that you're not going to question. You're not going to make me question about my faith and my belief in the inside of my faith. You know,
That's like totally fine. I mean, what we're doing right now is debating. So if you like just like throwing your
Yeah.
hands up and saying, well,
Yeah,
that's just
so
my opinion. I'm aware
this
that
is the
that's your
first
opinion.
time.
You've been sharing it this
This is the
entire
first
time. Yeah.
time that.
What?
So I don't go to church. I'm not religious based. I don't go to church. That's not my thing. I used to be, but I don't know. God is my God. Period. I don't know. He's real.
That's fine. I'm probably going to move on to a guest who has arguments, but I appreciate
Yeah.
you coming on up here. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends. If you want to support the stream, the Venmo and Cash App are in my bio. Thanks so much for the lightning bolts and for the roses. I appreciate the hell out of that. If you're in those guest request boxes, be 18 or older. Don't be a yapper. Believe in the Christian God, the Muslim God, or the Jewish God, or don't request to join. And also don't be driving. Those are the only stipulations. If you want to join the community, as many already have, the link to the Discord is in my bio. I would love to see you there. It's just a great little time. It's a fun community. You need to copy it and paste it into the Discord app directly. But it is a really cool place, and I think you'd really enjoy it, as I really enjoy it too. Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Hello, brother. How are you?
Doing well. How old are you?
I'm 22.
And what religion are you?
I'm a Muslim.
Yeah. So what's your strongest argument for the existence of the Muslim God that doesn't involve personal experience?
The Quran.
So what about the Quran?
Like everything what's in there, all the miracles, if you look to it, it's really special. And the texts in it are also special. And you just know it couldn't be written by just some random guy, you know?
I don't know. There's like some things that make me think that it was definitely written by some random guy. Like when it says that Muhammad split the moon, but yet there's no account from anybody else of Muhammad splitting the moon.
No,
Like
no.
if the moon was in fact split, we would expect one, evidence from the moon that says that it was split, and two, innumerable. Like we should expect accounts of the moon being split from every civilization on the planet. And we don't. We have none of these. Greece would have seen this, no account from them. Rome would have seen this, no account from them. Or actually, I don't know if Rome existed at this point.
Okay,
Rome probably
but
did exist.
God
Whatever, it's
split the
irrelevant.
moon. God split the moon, and He brought it back. So why should there be an evidence if He can? God is Almighty. He can put the moon just perfectly back. Why would there be an evidence? You know?
Did he use the Men in Black like mind eraser on everybody else who existed at that time? Because everybody else should have seen the moon from around the world. The moon is very big. If the moon split in half and then came back together, there should be kind of just a crazy number of accounts of people saying like the moon split apart. Like we should have accounts from China, from Europe, from Africa, from everywhere. We should have accounts saying that the moon split in half, because that would be the biggest event in all of human history. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for the heart me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I get your point. Yes, that would be logic, but I don't know why would God want to show it to that many people? You know? Then
But
like
if the moon split apart, it's not
Yes.
a matter of like showing it to people, like showing it to like all these people. If the moon
God,
is splitting
God
apart,
chooses who
people
wants
would
to
see it.
No, God chooses who wants to see it.
So it was the moon didn't actually split apart. It was just an illusion.
No. I think it's split. It's difficult to believe in, you know. It's difficult to believe in, but we as Muslims, we have faith, you know, that it happened. And even if it's difficult, I still believe in it. But yeah, it's a difficult point, man. But if God would have shown that to if everybody would see that, then everybody would instantly become like a Muslim, and it's
Wouldn't that
not
be
that
cool?
easy. Yeah, that would be great, but it's a bigger test than this, you know. Just to see the moon and then become a Muslim, you really have to find it. Some people have to really find it, get tested in several ways, not just by seeing the moon and then think, oh yeah, that's true. Let's become a Muslim now. No.
Does God want everyone to choose him?
Does God want everyone to choose him? No. God knows who is going to choose him, and there's a few people that God just knows that are not going to become Muslim or that are not going to enter heaven, I think.
But would God prefer it if these people were Muslim and entered into heaven?
Yeah, I think so. Why not?
So I mean, if God knew that doing this, so this is like a perfect example of the problem of divine hiddenness. If God knew that doing this would convert more people, would allow more people to become Muslim and get into heaven, why wouldn't he do it?
I know. Why would he not get more people into heaven? I know what you're saying, but it's not that easy, bro. Why would you think it's that easy to get into heaven? Or that's
because
not
otherwise they have no shot.
That's
they
not
have
like a real test, you know.
Because they have otherwise like very little shot of getting into heaven unless they live like a virtuous
in Islam,
life.
we also believe if